How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final time. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final
All right. I'm here. No one panic. I'm here. I made it home. I'm sorry I'm late. It wasn't my fault. Most of the time when I'm late, it is actually my fault. Most of the time when I'm late, it's because I did not manage my time very well. And that was not the case today. That was not the case. I actually managed my time so well that I was half an hour early. Getting back to my car to drive home because I decided to go to Boston today. Mostly just because it was a really nice day and I was like, I can walk around outside. I can look around and see if there's any leftist shit going on. And I was just like, I'm not that far away from Boston. I was like, I'm just going to drive down to Boston. It's actually quicker for me to get to Boston than it is to get to like Maine, honestly. Like to a significant degree. It takes me 45 minutes to an hour to get into Boston. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I left at like 11 o'clock today. I was like, I'm going down to Boston. I'm going to walk around. I'm going to see what's going on. I'm just going to get a lot of steps in today because I want to kick the weight loss up again because I kind of have plateaued in the weight loss a little bit. So I was like, listen, I can either go to the gym or I can go to Boston and just walk like 5 miles around the city over the next several hours. And I was like, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to go to Boston. Like, I like, whatever, fuck it. And so I went to Boston and I walked around a lot and there was no leftist stuff going on. And I went to all the usual spots to check in and really there was nothing to report on. So I like just walked around and like, basically that was kind of like what I did. And I just got a lot of steps in and I arrived back at my car half an hour early. And I was like, this is great. I'm going to have plenty of fucking time to get home before the start of my 5 p.m. stream. Well, traffic had other ideas. And apparently there were several accidents that I can only assume were caused by illegal immigrant drivers. Because you guys know this is going to become a thing, right? I was actually thinking about this while I was driving down to Boston. I was like, one of the things that I think people haven't talked about is that we are all getting put in danger by the amount of shitty immigrant drivers that we have on the roads today. Have you guys ever been to the countries where these people come from? Have you ever seen how they drive in those countries? I have, and it's fucking terrifying. It's terrifying. And I've been seeing more and more of this shit. And quite, when I was driving to Maine the other day, I didn't tell you guys this. When I was driving to Maine the other day, there was actually a fucking, listen, I don't know if they were an immigrant, but they were definitely a fucking brown person. There was a car accident caused by a brown person that happened 50 yards in front of me when I was driving to Maine the other day, because the brown person swerved out of their fucking lane for no good reason, hit another car. This happened I was like 50 yards behind them. They then both flew off the fucking highway. And had I been any closer, I don't know if I would have been able to swerve in time to get around that shit. I was like this close to getting in a car accident. And again, I looked at who was in the car when I drove past. It was definitely a fucking brown person. Maybe they weren't an immigrant, but being that most of the people that I see around me that are brown don't speak fucking English or are speaking with a very heavy accent, I'm going to assume they're a fucking immigrant. I'm sorry. Maybe this is giving immigrants a bad name, but like, listen, when I'm constantly surrounded by brown people not speaking fucking English or speaking with a very thick accent that is obviously not American, I'm going to make the assumption that anytime I see a brown person do something stupid or dangerous, it's probably a fucking immigrant. And I don't think people have talked enough about how this is actively putting every single person in danger if you are driving anywhere. And it's not just around the cities. I was driving to Maine. I was driving through a rural part of New Hampshire to get to Maine, and I had a car accident happen right in front of me. And so on the way back today from Boston, immediately upon getting onto the Mass Pike, there was a fucking car accident. There was like a fucking pileup. And then there just happened to be more and more and more. And it was like, it added an extra hour onto my fucking drive. And then I get back to New Hampshire and I get off the highway. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to make it home for the stream. We're almost home. And then the skies opened and a torrential downpour started. So I'm like 15 fucking minutes away from home at most. And it just starts downpouring. And you know how retarded drivers are, that anytime it starts raining, they don't just drive normally. Everyone slams on their fucking brakes and starts driving like a bunch of fucking grandmas. So it's not my fault. I had everything been on time and there had been no fucking immigrants on the fucking road, I think I would have gotten home in plenty of time. If we just removed all fucking immigrants from being able to drive in this country, if we just took away their driver's licenses until they pass a very intensive driving course that proves to all of us that they are not going to kill people or cause problems, I mean, I really feel like that would, like, one in the chat, let me ask you guys this. One in the chat, if you think that if we just took away the driver's licenses of all immigrants until they prove they are worthy of having a driver's license in America, one in the chat, if you think that would clear up like 80% plus of the traffic problems that we have. Two in the chat if I'm wrong. Listen, lots of people are shitty drivers. Lots of women especially are shitty drivers. I am not a shitty driver, so I feel confident saying that. But I really feel like the vast majority of problems that we have when we are driving places, whether they be traffic accidents or people driving too slow or people in the passing lane when they shouldn't be in the fucking passing lane, I feel like, or people not merging. Like, have you ever been behind these people who don't know how to fucking merge into a lane, or people not understanding what right of way is? I really feel like at least 80% of our traffic problems would be eliminated overnight if we stopped allowing immigrants to have driver's licenses until they pass some sort of intensive course I'm talking like a year long plus. I had to take driver's ed when I got a driver's license. I had to drive with my mother, which wasn't exactly the best. You think I'm fucking crazy? You try driving with my fucking mother in the passenger seat as she's slamming her foot on an imaginary brake that doesn't exist and screaming at me the whole time, even when I'm not doing anything wrong or dangerous. Okay? I had to take driver's ed and I had to drive with my fucking mother for months and months and months and months and months before I ever took a driving test. When immigrants come to this country, they show up to the DMV and they're basically handed a fucking driver's license. And again, have you seen how people drive in fucking India? Have you seen how people drive in South America? Have you seen how people drive in Haiti? Have you seen how people drive in Africa? I don't want those people on the road. I don't want them on the road. And I think that most of our traffic problems would be solved if we took away their driver's licenses. And if they really want to be in this country, they need to pay for themselves an intensive fucking immigrant specific driving course where they prove to a tribunal of people that they're not going to kill anyone or cause traffic problems. Okay? That's my position. So if you're pissed off that I'm late, just remember that it wasn't my fault. It was the immigrants on the road who are causing traffic accidents and driving like fucking retards. All right? I barely made it home alive because of this shit. This is why I can't leave the house. I've got to stop leaving the house. This is why I can't go places. This is why I can't have nice things. Look, I already had to deport a retard from the chat. You are the one that's stupid. Listen to, this is Dan Bongino's audience, guys. Like, really think about this for a moment. You are the one that's stupid. Leave Dan alone. He has cancer. You are just has bad, has candy lady. Is that English? Is that English? I had to deport this loser from the chat. Like I can't. No, we're not doing this. We are not having retarded chats from people who don't speak English. We are not doing this. Like, this is an English only channel. If you do not speak English, you are not allowed to be here. Okay? Okay. But on the bright side, can we all give early happy birthday to Reagan? Just in case I forget tomorrow. Of course, I'm going to try not to forget. But can we all give an early happy birthday to Reagan, who basically is the number 2 in charge of the community? If you don't know Reagan, you will listen to everything Reagan says and does in the chat. If Reagan gives you a directive in the chat, you will listen to it as though it is something I said. I would not be able to function without Reagan in this community, keeping things in line. And Reagan has done so much stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't know about. Like, Reagan is a fucking queen, legend, you know, vice president of this community. And like, whatever is number 2 in command. Obviously, I am number 1 in command, but Reagan is like number 2 on the list. And if I ever die or get shot or come to some sort of what should we say? I don't know. If I meet my untimely demise, Reagan is in charge, and Reagan will carry on my legacy. Reagan is in charge of the entire community and will carry on my legacy in the event of my untimely demise. Okay, I'm just saying. Happy birthday, Reagan. Happy early birthday. I will try to remember tomorrow as well. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. We also appreciate Old Sub Sailor, who is in with the 10 gifted channel memberships. The king, the legend, the Plague Doctor himself, W's my friend. Everyone put Plague Doctor emojis in the chat for Old Sub. He's starting us off strong with 10 gifted channel memberships. I am not going to do an official channel membership goal today, guys, because we're doing a little bit of a lighter day. Actually, I don't even know if it will be lighter, if I'm honest. I don't know if it will be lighter. Today might actually be a really difficult stream Because today we are going to listen to conservative retardation. We are going to depart from our coverage of the left just briefly to tune into what's going on the right. And actually, when we have to listen to conservative retardation, it actually is more difficult to me, and I think many other people in the community, than when we listen to socialism. One in the chat if you find it more difficult to listen to conservative retardation than you find it to listen to socialism. Two in the chat if you find it more difficult to listen to socialism than to listen to conservative retardation. Let me know. Let me know. But there is a very specific reason that we have to do this, because we are constantly contending with the misinformation of the conservative retard media establishment. One of the biggest challenges that we face as people who actually take the problem of the far left in America seriously, one of the biggest problems that we face is the fact, hey, John, don't spam my fucking chat. You spam my chat one more time, I'm going to deport your ass from the channel for not being smart enough to be here. One of the biggest challenges that we face as people who actually take the left seriously is that the average conservative or MAGA supporter or person who thinks they're fighting the communists, they are constantly lied to by their own influencers. And the people who are saying that it's easier to listen to conservative retardation than socialism, I don't recognize them at all. I don't recognize the people in the chat who are saying it's easier to listen to conservative retardation than socialism, which means that the people who are saying that it's easier to listen to conservative retardation and socialism, more than socialism, probably have never listened to the far left before, and they're probably only here because I have Dan Bongino in the title of the stream. So they're coming to defend Dan Bongino's honor, and they probably think I'm secret Antifa or a leftist, and they probably... Okay, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. No retard, you don't. No retard. Hey, John, what's the left's definition of capitalism? Let us know how much you know about the left, bro. What is the left's definition of capitalism? Let's see how many retards we're gonna attract into the chat today. Because this is the biggest challenge we face. Right-wingers who are constantly lied to by their own media. Right-wingers who refuse to hinge into reality and actually tackle what's going on. W's to you, my friend. Thank you, John, so much for the gifted channel membership. Trendle, and I'm going to get your super chat in a second. Hang on, let me just add John's channel membership. So we have that. Let's see what Trendlin had to say for 20 bucks. Hang on. Hang on. Oh my God, I can't see. Here we go. Boom. When is the cult doing the massive meet and greet viewing of the Compton cafeteria riot? I don't know, Trendlin. That's a great question. We are going to do it at some point. Obviously, I still have your recording. I just don't know when. But I promise you we are going to do it. But like, I just don't know when. So I promise you I will keep you updated. I appreciate the 20. Dan Bongino has no honor. So true. So true. So true. Today, Dan Bongino went off on socialism and dumb left kids he can only debunk and shame. Yeah, we're going to listen to yesterday's episode that you brought to my attention, Grillis, but maybe we'll listen to today's too. Maybe we'll listen to both. I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. Yo, Duggan with a $50 super chat. Big support, bro. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. You are an amazing member of the community. We love you. We appreciate you. Old Sub bought a painting, which means some mutual aid. Old Sub bought one of your paintings? That's awesome. That's so fucking cool. Doug is an amazingly talented, creative artist. I love it when we have artists in the community. So glad Old Sub bought one of your paintings, bro. And thank you for the 50 bucks. Thanks for the 50. I appreciate it. What a massive dub. So today we are going to be possibly slightly torturing ourselves by watching Dan Bongino's stream from yesterday, where apparently he said some really retarded shit about the left. And the reason I want to watch this is I want to know what right-wingers are hearing. I want to know what normie conservative, probably boomers, are hearing from their influencers. Because if we don't understand what conservatives are hearing, then our hope of being able to get them to hinge into reality with what the far left is doing is slim to none. This is exactly, we're basically doing a MAGA spy stream. Yeah, that's basically it. We are basically doing a MAGA spy stream because as much as we are up against the left, we are also up against the fucking right because they lie to their audiences all the time. So we are going to listen to Dan Bongino being an absolute fucking retard today. And we're going to see what sort of bullshit he's spewing. And the reason I want to listen to Dan Bongino specifically is because this man was the deputy director of the FBI. This man was the number 2 in charge of the FBI. Karlyn, do you really think you know more about the left than the FBI does? Yes. Yes, I do. Yes. And I think you're going to see that proven today when we listen to Dan Bongino warning his audience about the socialists and talking about them from his perspective as the former deputy director of the FBI. Thank you so much, I am, for the super chat. This is your Dan has cancer pass from another cancer patient, F. Dan. Yeah, I am has been battling cancer for a while now, over a year, I think. And she's still here and she's still ticking and we love her and we love that she's still here. And we love her in the community and we appreciate the super chat. So I have the cancer pass. I don't give a fuck if Dan Bongino has cancer because I am is telling me I can still tell Dan Bongino to literally go fuck himself. Oh, look at this. Breaking news from Truth Social, guys. ABC and NBC refuse to air Trump's address tonight. We will tune in to Trump's address tonight. I'm going to assume we're still going to be live at that time. We will tune in to Trump's address tonight. We'll see whatever Trump has to say as well. So if you want to watch Trump's address, we will tune into that when that actually does go live. And I don't think that ABC and NBC refusing to air it is actually breaking news, Trump. I think it's at 8 p.m., right? It's at 8 p.m. Pretty sure. Reagan, that thing I asked you to sign up for yesterday, it never came through. I am keeping an eye on it, though. But it never came through. Fancy that. Fancy that. Fancy that. Well, I'll talk about that tomorrow, but I think that's okay. I'll talk about that tomorrow. I think that because Dan Bongino is a massive fucking retard. We are, guys, I want the mods to be really on their toes today. We are going to attract so many conservative retards to the channel today that don't know what they're talking about, but they think they do because they listen to Dan Bongino. So I want everyone to be on their toes. I want the mods. If we get conservative retards in the chat, we will gently warn them to stop being retarded. If they continue to be retarded, we will put them in a timeout. If they come back from the timeout and they continue to be retarded after that, we will just deport them from the channel. We have to gatekeep this community. I know I'm taking a chance by putting Dan Bongino. Well, we can't educate all of them, though. We can't educate all of them because many of them are not smart enough to be educated, okay? Many of them are not smart enough to be educated. As a reminder, no one permanently bans people but me, but mods can put people in timeout, okay? It's 9 p.m. Okay, gives us more time to debunk Dan Bongino's retardation. Before we get into that, I have a couple other things I want to cover. I have a couple other things I want to speak to. Now, In a rare Mercado Media W, I have to take Mercado's side on this one. I have to take Mercado's side. I don't want to take his side, but I have to. Because the retard journalists at the main wire have been complaining constantly that people like Mercado are showing up to document the ICE protests on the ground in Maine. And I have to say that I am so fucking sick of this argument. I hear this from conservatives all the time. You don't even live here. I don't live in Maine either, assholes. I also don't live in Massachusetts. I also don't live in Illinois, where I was a couple weeks ago. I also don't live in California, where I've gone undercover with the left many times. I also don't live in New York, where I've also gone undercover with the left. And I don't know why conservative retards keep making the argument that if you are not from a specific state, that you are not allowed to go and do protest coverage and leftist coverage in that state. Are you actually fucking retarded? First of all, I haven't seen the main wire doing protest coverage. Mercado Media, for all his faults, and he does have many, Mercado Media got his ass. You know what? We have to celebrate Mercado. Mercado immediately left his apartment, got his ass on a plane, came to fucking Maine, of all places, and was doing on-the-ground coverage almost immediately. Now, you might not like Mercado, but I appreciate the fact that he's doing on-the-ground coverage, because almost no one is doing on-the-ground coverage in a way where we can actually go and watch what's going on the ground. I certainly am not live streaming. I might go there and film stuff, but Mercado Media actually was doing on the fucking ground coverage. The main wire wasn't out there doing on the ground coverage, and now the main wire has been tweeting at Mercado like all fucking day, being like, you don't even live here. You're not allowed to do coverage. Yes, he fucking is. Yes, he fucking is. Mercado's allowed to do coverage. Content creators are allowed to go and create content. I am allowed to go to whatever fuck off state I want and do leftist coverage, especially when retards like faggot journalists at the main wire don't get off their asses and go do it. If they were being actual journalists and doing on-the-ground coverage, then guess what? People like Mercado would not be necessary. We have to watch streams like Mercado because conservatives don't do this shit. And at least he's on the ground and he is giving us a live feed of what's going on so we can see it for ourselves every time I don't want to wake up at the crack of fucking dawn to drive out to Maine. So, no. Main wire L, Mercado W. I want Mercado in Maine doing coverage. I want Mercado in Minnesota doing coverage. I want Mercado on the ground all the fucking time doing coverage. Because when he actually leaves his fucking apartment and goes and does work, he is very good at what he does. You don't have to like him. You don't have to like his opinion. He hustles when he's out there. He gets a lot of different perspectives. We use his content to study the left. He lets us use his content. Fucking BG on the Scene was complaining about us using his content. BG on the Scene was like, people should be watching us directly and no one should be restreaming our content. Mercado Media lets anyone restream his content as long as they don't take off the logo that he puts on his stream. So, no. We might be on different sides and we might disagree, but this argument by conservative retards, you aren't allowed to do coverage here if you're not from Maine. Shut the fuck up. If you're not going to get out there and do it, then he's going to do it, and I want him doing it. And if you are going to be lazy fuckwits and sit on your asses and just do nothing but complain and blab on Twitter, don't complain when someone else comes and does journalism. All right. So Mercado W, Main Wire L. I am going to Maine this weekend to cover the protest there. I'm down. And by the way, when I tell you guys I am going to Maine this weekend to cover the protest, what I'm saying is I'm not going undercover, Mercado. I'm not infiltrating the protest, Mercado. Just in case Mercado Media wants to announce that they let me infiltrate, I wasn't fucking wearing a disguise when I was in Maine the other day. I was literally dressed as myself. I brought a Gucci bag, okay? Do you think if I'm going undercover to a leftist event and I don't want people to know who I am, do you think I'm going to bring a Gucci fucking bag with me that has Gucci written in giant letters on it? That's retarded. If I'm pretending to be a leftist, I'm not bringing a Gucci fucking bag with me, bro. I'm bringing a non-branded backpack, okay? So I will be going to Maine and I will be doing coverage. Yeah, I would also hide my tattoos. I would also probably wear a wig. I would not have my hair down, or I would be wearing a hat at a minimum. I should bring the Chanel. It's not good for like running around though. I don't have a good Chanel like backpack or anything. So we'll see. So I will be going to Maine this weekend. I will be doing protest coverage there. There's also stuff going on in Boston. I highly recommend that you guys look and see where you are, what's going on for protests this weekend, because the left is doing a national day of action on Saturday. So there will be protests everywhere. I think these will be safe events to go to. If you guys want to observe and just document what's going on, I highly recommend you look up and you see what protests are going on in their area or in your area, and go check it out and let us know what's going on. Yeah. If I was going undercover, I'm not going to bring a Gucci bag with me. But if I'm going as myself, I am going to bring a Gucci bag with me because I have like 15 of them, okay? So I have an inordinate amount of Gucci bags. I actually have thought about this, but it's taken me years to grow my hair out this long. One of my I actually have I can't tell you what my future disguises are, but one of my future disguises may involve that, but not yet. It's taken me years to grow out my hair. I haven't cut my hair in years, so I'm not shaving it all off just yet. Come on. But a bigger thing I want to talk about before we get into Dan Bongino is that, did anyone see this absolute retardation coming out of Marco Rubio? Guys, do not listen to a single fucking thing that comes out of the Trump administration about the left. Do not listen to a single word coming out of the Trump administration about the left. Because Marco Rubio did a speech today in which he said that Antifa is funded by Iran and Cuba. Let's listen.
This is the nature of the terrorism we face today. They despise the West because the West is great. This is an international conference because we are facing a transnational threat. These are not distinct and isolated cells. They are interconnected networks. They do not recognize our borders. They do not believe, in fact, in the nation state itself. They coordinate, they communicate, they travel, they train, and they act together, sharing the same infrastructure, sharing the same enemies, sharing the same mission. Antifa militants and their comrades travel from across Europe and to the Americas to participate in each other's attacks. To funnel propaganda and training materials. And target information. Through shared encrypted channels. Moving through underground networks of safe.
As a reminder, I cannot control the volume of your conservative retard media. Can't control the volume of your conservative retard media. This is as loud as it is.
Houses and finance and sustain their operations. through transnational funds. And they work alongside hostile foreign states that share their mission, like Iranian proxy networks, who are increasingly intimately tied to leftist militant groups around the world.
Nope.
The Cuban regime's sprawling intelligence and ideological network helped to build the far left in our country and in our hemisphere.
Nope.
And it remains inextricably linked to the far left groups and movements across and beyond the West.
Completely wrong. Nope. 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 Every single thing Marco Rubio said in that was wrong. I know the volume was low. It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who clipped it. But every single thing Marco Rubio said was wrong. Marco Rubio says Antifa is directly aided by Iran and Cuba through a massive international network that seeks to attack the West with terrorism and propaganda. Yeah, source, data Republican. Exactly. But that's not the only Trump administration retard that said something stupid today. Breaking news. Stephen Miller. Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action, formally recognizing left-wing violence as a form of political terrorism that is a direct threat to our national security and the survival of our Republican form of government. Listen.
Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action of formally recognizing...
No. See, this is always going to be the conservative retard answer. They're both true. No, they're not. No, they're not. One in the chat, if you are someone who actually understands the far left and understands there's no fuck off way they're funded by Iran and Cuba, and that is one of the most retarded things you've ever heard in your life. 2 in the chat, if you listen to conservative retard media and you're convinced that yes, Antifa's really funded by Iran and Cuba. 1 in the chat, if it is completely fucking retarded to think that Iran and Cuba are funding Antifa. 2 in the chat if they're both true. No. Just because your conservative retard media lies to you does not mean that they're both true. We don't make shit up here. We hinge into reality. There is no fucking universe in which Iran and Cuba, of all fucking things, is funding Antifa in America. That's actually one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. And the fact that the Secretary of State is lying to the American people and saying that should tell you all you need to know about the Trump administration. It is so stupid. Like, I can't even deal with the level of retardation that is coming out of this administration. Old Sub, thank you so much for the super chat. It would be nice to see the actual proof of this. Proof is credibility. Without proof, not believable. Show us the proof. Yeah, pinky swear. Trust me, bro. It's totally Iran and Cuba. Let's start this again.
Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action of formally recognizing left-wing violence as a form of political terrorism that is a direct threat to our national security and the survival of our Republican form of government. President Trump issued a directive, in our parlance, it's called
seriously,
National Security
Deeks.
Presidential Memorandum,
Thank
NSPM, NSPM 7 to be exact, that directs for the first time in American history all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country.
Oh, yeah? You guys have issued a directive to defund and debank Antifa? Then why, Stephen Miller, why haven't any conservative media reported on the fact that Antifa directly has raised almost $400,000 via a crowdfunding website from over 3,700 individual donors, which means an average donation of about $100 for people keeping track. If the Trump administration has done so much to debank and defund Antifa, then why is no one talking about the fact that the 15 Antifa members have raised almost $400,000 via a crowdfunding site with 3,700 people donating to this, and conservative media refuses to report on it, and they certainly haven't done anything to stop it. This is literally an Antifa fundraiser. This is literally an Antifa crowdfunding campaign. It's been advertised all over Antifa's social media. They were the first ones to push it. The Trump administration won't even acknowledge this is happening, but they want me to believe that they're defunding and debanking and stopping Antifa. Okay, Stephen Miller. Okay. Yeah, sure. John, thank you for the compliment. I do appreciate the super chat. Let's just listen to that again, because there might be people who don't know that Antifa, literal Antifa, has raised almost $400,000 via a crowdfunding site because conservative media won't report on it. Now let's listen to Stephen Miller again talk about all the things they're doing to defund and debank Antifa, okay? The government has never seen what Antifa does to... Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Dietz. Thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Listen again.
Here in the United States, we have taken the necessary and essential action of formally recognizing left-wing violence as a form of political terrorism that is a direct threat to our national security and the survival of our Republican form of government. President Trump issued a directive. In our parlance, it's called a National Security Presidential Memorandum, or NSPM, NSPM 7 to be exact, that directs, for the first time in American history, all of our law enforcement and intelligence agencies to work together to disrupt, identify, defund, debank, arrest, and prosecute these political terrorists that are operating in our country.
So, guys, if the entire intelligence community is being directed by the Trump administration to defund, debank, and prosecute these political terrorists in Antifa, then why does Antifa have a public crowdfunding campaign of almost $400,000 for the 15 Antifa members that were arrested in Minnesota, with over 3,700 individual donors? That is 3,700 people who are funding Antifa directly with an average donation of about $100. The Trump administration won't talk about this. They haven't done anything to investigate this. Conservative media won't report on this because it completely debunks their narrative that Antifa's funded by Neville Roy Singham and the CCP, which isn't even real. So no, Stephen Miller, no, I do not believe that the entire intelligence community is working together to defund, debank, and prosecute the Antifa terrorists and the people funding them, when I can look at a public fucking $400,000 crowdfunding campaign and see that you're not doing fuck off about it.
It's very important to understand that left-wing political terrorism seeks as its ultimate end the overthrow of our system and form of government.
True.
And we've seen this has taken place many times in many places throughout the years, and Secretary Rubio has provided you many examples. Left-wing terrorism always ends in bloodshed, misery, and suffering.
And yet you do nothing to stop it.
In one direction. There's no point at which the left-wing terrorist is satisfied with his gains and ceases progressing. Inevitably, left to run its course, it always becomes a gulag. It always becomes the mass imprisonment of political enemies, the stripping of their rights and freedoms, inflicting immense pain, humiliation, suffering, in order to establish complete and total control. Control through psychological and physical and actual terror. And we have to understand that that is the scope and the extent of the threat that we face.
So if Stephen Miller is serious about the threat of the far left and Antifa, then why isn't the Trump administration doing anything about it? Why? They've arrested a couple dozen people. Oh, There are 80,000 far-left anti-ICE activists in Minneapolis, Minnesota alone. You want to tell me the Trump administration has solved Antifa by arresting a couple dozen fucking people? No, they haven't. And they are not taking this problem seriously. They don't even understand the problem, especially when the Secretary of State is going out and saying Antifa's funded by Iran and Cuba. No, they're not. They are funded by mutual aid, which is what this is. They are funded by small donations through their community. They are not funded by NGOs. They are not funded by nonprofits. They are not funded by George fucking Soros. They are not funded by Neville Roy Singham and the CCP. They are funded by mutual aid. And the Trump administration has done nothing to stop this. And they keep lying to the public about it. And then their conservative media lapdogs back them up by ignoring and not reporting the correct, accurate information about what is going on the ground. And that is why we do not listen to right-wing media any more than we listen to left-wing media, because right-wing media lies to their audience just as much as left-wing media lies to their audience, and the lies that right-wing media has told has made their audience functionally retarded. Deets in with a super chat that's got a link. Hang on. Let's see what this is. Hang on. Let's look at what Deets just sent in. I don't exactly know what this is, but I'm going to pull it up real quick. Deets says 123 video. These people don't put their money in banks. Yeah, let's watch the video Deets just sent in. Here it is. Anti-Milo Antifa protesters attacking a bank. Antifa does not put their money in banks, guys. They don't like banks. They don't like the Fed any more than libertarians do. Yeah, well, this is true, Gary. Correct. Yeah, saying mutual aid doesn't get Republicans elected. Exactly. Yeah, that's a great question. Why don't they investigate the unions? Excellent question. So, I'm pretty sure, guys, that Antifa doesn't keep their money in a bank. But good luck debanking them, Stephen Miller. Good luck debanking them. Good luck debanking them. All right, guys, we are going to get into the main part of our stream today, which is we're going to listen to Dan Bongino's retard stream from yesterday, and we're going to listen what conservatives are actually hearing from their influencers. W's to you, Shikalago. Thank you so much for supporting the stream, bro. Appreciate it very, very, very much. Appreciate it. Let me add that to the tally there. Thank you. Guys, as a reminder, my coverage of the far left is 100% independently funded by people like you. If you want to support the work I'm doing, showing you actual primary source evidence from the far left, please feel free to send in a super chat or a channel membership. If you can't afford to do so, that's totally fine, man. Make sure you like the stream, mount the like button for me, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, share out the content, participate in the chat. You don't have to pay money to be here. We try to keep the content freely available for everyone, but we are able to keep the content freely available when people fund it. So if you appreciate what I do, please fund it if you can. You can also sign up for a membership on Substack if you don't want to give your money to YouTube. That's totally fine. And if you can't afford to, that's cool too. But like the video, make sure you're sharing it and doing all the things you should be doing. Let's listen to what Dan Bongino said about the left yesterday on his show. I have never watched Dan Bongino in his full show. So I'm sure I'm not going to be yelling at all during the course of this stream. I'm sure that's not going to happen. We'll see. Is this anyone else's first time watching Dan Bongino? Oh, look, a Times Square billboard. Okay. Oh.
Time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for
Get
the
ready,
Dan
guys.
Bongino Show.
You want to talk about a stacked news day? You got Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche up on the Hill. Hopefully that goes smoothly. Of course, the Democrats will have their anticipated breakdown.
And again, guys, the reason we are watching this is the former number 2 at the FBI. Deputy Director of the FBI. Yeah, this is actually a good point. I should start smoking weed right now. Good, like W Dawn.
You've got renewed hostilities over in Iran.
I'm kidding.
You've
I would
got
never
these
get high on the
Democrats,
internet.
socialists, fake socialists of America going out there humiliating themselves. They're fake socialists. Listen to me before we even start.
The Democratic Socialists of America are fake socialists. We aren't even 60 fucking seconds into Dan Bongino's show. The Democratic Socialists of America are fake socialists. If you guys want to get alcohol or drugs, now is probably the time to do it. Again, former Deputy Director of the FBI. Again, please, sir.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche up on the Hill. Hopefully that goes smoothly. Of course, the Democrats will have their anticipated breakdown.
Yeah,
You've got renewed hostilities over in Iran. You've got these Democrat socialists, fake socialists of America going out there humiliating themselves. They're fake socialists. Listen to me before we even start the show. This is like getting me going on the mask thing, and it'll derail the whole freaking show, but this is super important. I did Hannity's show last night, did his radio show yesterday as well. Sean was nice enough to have me on both yesterday. And I got Vince coming up later. We're going to do an interview with your favorite morning podcaster again. You're here every couple of weeks, Vince Colonese. And this topic came up. Folks, this is horrendous for the country. I hate the use of full stop, but if there was ever a full stop, this is it. The fact that a bunch of America-hating communists who want to destroy our economy, our political system, your liberties and freedoms is a freaking disaster of epic proportions. It's horrendous. But when you're in the content creation business, they really do make it easy to put a show together. They're just such fakes and phonies and frauds.
Wow.
And they elicit such an emotional, like, rage response from liberty-loving Americans who are like, correct, you probably feel the same.
Did Dan Bongino just admit that he's rage baiting his own fucking audience? Did Dan Bongino just say flat out, they make it so easy for me to rage bait my fucking audience? This is what conservatives are hearing, guys. This is it. This is what conservatives believe.
I got Vince coming up later. We're going to do an interview with your favorite morning podcaster again. You're here every couple of weeks, Vince Colonese. And this topic came up. Folks, this is horrendous for the country. I hate the use of full stop, but if there was ever a full stop, this is it. The fact that a bunch of America-hating communists who want to destroy our economy, our political system, your liberties and freedoms is a freaking disaster of epic proportions. It's horrendous. But when you're in the content creation business, they really do make it easy to put a show together. They're just such fakes and phonies and frauds. And they elicit such an emotional, like, rage response from liberty-loving Americans who are like, correct, you probably feel the same way I do. Like, how can you be this stupid? How can you be this?
Dan, I think that's a great question for the person you see in the mirror every day, former Deputy Director of the FBI. How is it fucking possible that you are this fucking stupid that you call the DSA, who, by the way, the DSA has a more effective electoral machine right now than the GOP does. And we are going to see the results of that electoral machine over the next decade. And there's probably going to be more DSA people elected to office all over the country while Dan Bongino is sitting there going, it's all fake, guys. It's all fake. Pinky swear. Trust me, bro. I'm rage baiting you. He's flat out admitting he's rage baiting his own audience without understanding that he's flat out admitting on his own show that he's rage baiting his audience because it's easy to piss off conservatives by lying to them about the left. The DSA is massively winning, and Dan Bongino, former deputy director of the FBI, his answer is, they're so stupid, I can use them to rage bait my audience forever. This is great. I cannot even.
This is like getting me going on the mask thing, and it'll derail the whole freaking show, but this is super important. I did Hannity's show last night, did his radio show yesterday as well. Sean was nice enough to have me on both yesterday. And I got Vince coming up later. We're going to do an interview with your favorite morning podcaster again. You hear every couple of weeks, Vince Colonnese. And this topic came up. Folks, this is horrendous for the country. I hate the use of full stop, but if there was ever a full stop, this is it. The fact that a bunch of America-hating communists who want to destroy our economy, our political system, your liberties and freedoms is a freaking disaster of epic proportions.
Oh, good.
It's horrendous. But when you're in the content creation business, they really do make it easy to put a show together. They're just such fakes and phonies and frauds. And they elicit such an emotional, like, rage response from liberty-loving Americans who are like, correct, you probably feel the same way I do. Like, how can you be this stupid? How can you be this stupid to try to reinsert for the umpteenth thousandth time communism in the United States, where it's destroyed and eviscerated every single thing it's touched? How can you be this freaking dumb?
Do you guys think that this is what Dan Bongino was like when he was deputy director of the FBI? Do you guys think that this is like what an average meeting with Dan Bongino was like when he was deputy director number 2 in charge of the FBI? I do. I think that Dan Bongino went into meetings in the fucking FBI and acted like your drunk uncle at Thanksgiving, pontificating about how all this is stupid and dumb and he knows everything and no one else knows everything. And it's just like, can you honestly imagine that this was the best that the Trump administration could find to be in very top-level senior leadership at the fucking FBI? And you wonder why I think that I know more about the far left than the FBI does? It's because this was the number 2 in charge. He didn't get fired. Dan Bongino quit. He didn't get fired. Greg Bovino, the only good person in the Trump administration, Greg Bovino got fired. He got forced to retire, to be pushed out, to be the scapegoat, when he was the only fucking good person in the Trump administration. Dan Bongino quit, and they begged him to stay, but Dan didn't want to because he couldn't do his $1 million podcast while he was deputy director of the FBI, and he had to go back and do his podcast. Yeah, a DEI hire would unironically have been more competent than Dan Bongino. True. Yeah, Monty over on Rumble says, but Karlyn, putting Dan in the number 2 spot, own the libs. Ain't that the truth? Guys, they owned the libs, and that's more important. It's all good, bro. It's confusing sometimes. Don't worry about it.
These shows, if you want a little inside baseball, to put together an hour and 20, an hour and 30, hour and 40-minute show takes about 4 or 5 hours if you're doing it right. And I think
It takes about 4 to 5 hours to put together an hour-long show. Guys, I stream for probably 3 to 5 hours, 6 days a week. Do you know? Hey, bro, pro tip, you coming in and whining about you getting blocked on X is a great way to get blocked on YouTube as well. So deported from the channel, goodbye. Do you know how long I prepare for these shows? Most of the time, an hour tops. And most of that is just research to find what we're going to watch. My preparation is I need to find something to watch, and sometimes that takes as long as an hour. Dan Bongino is preparing for 4 to 5 hours a day to do an hour-long fucking show. All right, Stanley, I'm very sorry, bro. You've proven to me you're not smart enough to be here. You really have. I can't do it, bro. Like, we gatekeep the community. You have to have a certain IQ to be here. If you prove to me you're not smart enough to be here, I have to remove you. I also do interviews without prep. Yeah, I do. True.
Anyone in the business, from Ben Shapiro to Dana Lash to Steve Crowder, would tell you the same. It takes a long time. And that doesn't even count their work, the production team's work. When you're putting together a show in this election cycle with this crop of socialist fraud imbeciles who won't even live by the rules, tax the rich. I don't want to pay taxes.
Thank you,
Aren't you rich too? Yeah, I'm rich. So you want to tax the rich, yet you are rich and you don't want to pay taxes.
Oh.
To put together.
Hang on. Did I wrongly block Iceman? Iceman, I'm bringing you back. Iceman, I'm sorry. I misread that. Iceman, I was trigger happy. I'm sorry, Iceman. You're back. Iceman, you're back. I'm so sorry I accidentally banned you. I'm so sorry. Hans corrected me. I was trigger happy, Iceman. It's not my fault. No, it is my fault. I take responsibility. Iceman is back. I hope you come back, bro. You're unbanned. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm sorry.
The show takes half that time. It really does. It's a tragedy for the country, but it makes it unbelievably easy to produce content because all you got to do is.
I'm on high alert.
I think we should.
Yeah, Iceman. Just so you know, Master Shake got accidentally banned the other day too. So I bet Master Shake is in solidarity with the wrongly banned for the moment. Anyway, yeah. Iceman, come back. I'm sorry. Okay.
Fund the police. What do you want them to use, dipshits? Water pistols? What are you, stupid? You're going to walk in the middle of a gang shootout in inner city Chicago and go, hold on, I got to juice up my mortar pistol. Anybody got a Deer Park?
Iceman's back.
Got a lady coming up later in the show. I think we should have DEI in medical schools. That's a great freaking idea. My appendix burst. I'm going to die of an infection. Hold on. I need to interview the potential surgeon. Sir, what did you write on your DEI statement about your appreciation for various cultures and your hatred for Western civilization? Ma'am, you've got about 30 minutes before you die of sepsis. I need to know where you stand on DEI. Nobody's doing that, bro. Nobody's doing that shit. No one. They're sinos. Sinos? What the hell is socialists in name only?
Oh my God. They're socialists in name only. Yeah, those socialists in name only control the public schools, Dan. Those socialists in name only are currently indoctrinating every single child in the public schools today, and the Trump administration hasn't done fuck off to stop it. They're social. I guess no, guys, Dan Bongino fixed everything. No one has to be worried about the public schools. No one has to be worried about the unions. They're socialists in name only, guys. They're not really controlling the unions. They're not really planning a mass general strike on May 1st, 2028. They haven't really shut down mass deportations. They haven't really fucked the Trump administration's entire agenda. Guys, Dan Bongino promises, pinky swear, trust him, bro. They're just socialists in name only. It's all a lie. It's not real. This is why your average conservative who listens to people like Jan Bongino are retarded. This is why your average right-winger truly has no idea what's going on, because they're listening to their favorite guy, Dan Bongino. He's like, no, this isn't even real, guys. They're just socialists in name only. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It should hurt to be that stupid I am. Yeah, bro. I totally agree. I totally agree. Yeah, it's Dan. It's the Democrats who are the socialists in name only. It's the Democrats who are not real socialists, Dan.
Surgeon, sir, what did you write on your DEI statement about your appreciation for various cultures and your hatred for Western civilization? Ma'am, you've got about 30 minutes before you die of sepsis. I need to know where you stand on DEI. Nobody's doing that, bro. Nobody's doing that shit. No one. They're sinos. Sinos? What the hell is socialists in name only? They're not really socialists. That's what I was telling Hannity last night. None of these people are real socialists.
Oh!
They all own...
Oh, good. He went on Sean Hannity on Fox News and said the same thing. I'm a very masochistic person, obviously. That's why I elected to watch this. I apparently am just inflicting pain on myself and my entire audience by watching this bullshit. Don't worry, guys. Fox News has it covered.
Nobody's doing that, bro. Nobody's doing that shit.
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
They're sinos. Sinos? The hell
4 hours
socialists in name only. They're not really socialists. That's what I was telling Hannity last night. None of these people are real socialists. They all own private property. They avoid paying taxes.
No.
A lot of them are really super rich.
No, not real, Dan. Sorry. No, not true.
He's like, you want to get rich? You know what a good idea? You know what's a good idea? Go. You did? You were he was thinking. He's always trying to get me back on track.
He is, Sandra. Yeah.
Folks, we wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation.
Oh, let's do a fucking commercial. Let's now. Guys, they're socialists in name only. They all have lots of money. Hey, you guys want to buy some gold? As a reminder, I don't do bullshit ad reads on this channel or try to sell you guys gold. If you appreciate that I don't do ad reads, can you please donate some channel memberships or some super chats? I'm a masochist is what I'm a masochist. I'm self-inflicting this pain on myself.
With acting Attorney General, hopefully he's confirmed, soon to be Attorney General Todd Blanche up on the Hill today in the confirmation hearing. Of course, the Democrats are just going to bring up all kinds of bullshit because they just don't like the results. Folks, I am never going to stop being a results guy. You want me to get into the emotion? You can be emotional about issues, but I'm not going to be dissuaded from results by emotion. I'm never going to do. That's what the left does. Coexist, tolerance.
Yeah, the left are the emotional ones.
Jews and Asians that you discriminate against in college applications, they're full of shit. I'm not going to do that. I'm a results guy. And I'm seeing this now, too. Well, I've been seeing it for a while with the doomers and the grifters. But
folks, the doomers and the grifters.
It's not you, because
that's the important thing, guys. The doomers and the grifters.
I talk to a lot of folks out there. The obsession with just instant gratification over long-term results is starting to filter into the mainstream of the party. And I think it's a mistake because the best results are the ones that are done correctly and take time. I want to show you what I mean. There's going to be pros and cons, people who like Todd Blanche for Attorney General, people who don't. I'm just going to tell you results-wise. I was there working with him when he was the DAG, the Deputy Attorney General. And honestly, the DAG runs most of the Justice Department. Not that the Attorney General.
Americans
we're
to
gonna
enjoy
get
swelling free
God
legs,
damn it.
even into their 80s. But now, almost 80.
General's an important position, clearly. But Todd ran the place for the first year I was there in the Trump administration with the Bureau. The results on the border, the historic crime drops, the public corruption cases, the Antifa case, the BLM case, the SPLC case, the Fulton County, Georgia ongoing case, the ongoing cases in the grand conspiracy,
Black
the
truffle
reforms,
beef
all of
jerky.
the, United States attorneys who he didn't think were constitutionalists, who they let go and pushed out the door. All of those reforms, all of the changes you're seeing on firearms regulations at ATF, he was the one who pushed through a lot of those. And I think he's the best choice for what it's worth. I do. And I'm just hoping they don't make a spectacle out of this thing today, because the American people would love to hear it.
Once you start listening to the far left directly, it becomes so blatantly obvious how full of shit people like this are. Listen, I understand there might be people here who are upset that I'm dragging Dan Bongino, because Dan Bongino's like their guy, and the only reason they're hate watching me right now is because I'm talking about Dan Bongino. But I promise all of you, if you actually come and study the far left with me, like many people in the chat have, if you actually watch the far left directly, you just look at primary source evidence, very, very, very quickly, it becomes clear how retarded these people are. And it becomes clear that they have been lying to their audiences the entire time. And the audiences just didn't look at the primary sources. It didn't occur to them because they trusted Dan Bongino and people like him to inform them, because they were the ones lifted up and said, oh, listen to these people. They know what they're talking about. Dan Bongino, former Secret Service, former deputy director of the FBI. He knows what he's talking about, guys. Listen to him. And so conservatives listen to people like him because they trusted the people who told them to listen to people like him. And they were all full of shit the entire fucking time. And when you look at the primary source evidence and you just watch what the left is saying and doing directly, it becomes so clear that these people are con artists that are lying to their audience for money and making their audience retarded as a result. Hans. King Hans of the chat. 20 gifted channel memberships. Big support, bro. Thank you so much. Everyone give Hans a round of W's in the chat. 20 channel memberships. Really, really appreciate it. Congrats to everyone who just got a channel membership, bringing us up to 32 channel memberships given out so far today. And listen, there are so many people who are in the chat right now who bought into this stuff. And I don't want anyone to feel bad about that. Listen, there was a time when I thought conservative media was telling the truth as well. There was a time. That time was 2020. Okay? And then I started listening to the left directly, and I was like, oh, they're full of shit too. I think that most people here, let me ask you guys this. One in the chat, if you were once fooled by conservative media and you thought they were telling the truth, and then you found out they were lying to you the whole time. 2 in the chat if that hasn't happened to you yet. 1 in the chat if you used to believe conservative media and you thought they were telling the truth, and then you found out that you were being lied to. 2 in the chat if that hasn't happened to you yet. I don't want anyone to feel bad. I don't want anyone to feel stupid, okay? It's not your fault you were lied to. It is not your fault. Look how many people share the same experience. There's a reason for that.
Yes. Now, having said that, folks, I don't fall for propaganda. I'm sorry. I listen to it. I take it in. I digest it. I try to sift through it. I use it in the show, exposing it, the left-wing propaganda. And I show you, like, this is propaganda versus results.
Guys, Dan Bongino is going to expose left-wing propaganda. We have no experience with left-wing propaganda on this channel, so I'm sure that Dan Bongino is going to introduce us to new information that we've never heard before, being that he's the former deputy director of the FBI, and he exposes left-wing propaganda all the time. Yeah, okay, Dan, I'm looking forward to that, all right?
One of the things I've seen online, and I don't know if it's a paid campaign or not, but I want you to just focus on results for a second. I want to prove to you right now what you're hearing is bullshit. Is you see a bunch of people out there going like, the Trump administration has given up on mass deportations of illegals.
Uh-huh.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm the problem.
That is just completely, totally inaccurate.
Uh-huh.
It's just not true. Like, you can believe it if you choose to be upset. I mean, I can't tell you what to believe or not. I'm just telling you, believing in something not worth in believing in because it's not true.
One in the chat, if you believe that the Trump administration has given up on mass deportations. 2 in the chat, if you think that mass deportations are happening. 1 in the chat, if you think that the Trump administration is not doing mass deportations at all. 2 in the chat, if you think they're happening. But guys, that's the real problem. It's not the left. Those are fake socialists. The real problem is people who don't think mass deportations are happening. Okay, Dan. All right.
I digest it. I try to sift through it. I use it in the show, exposing it, the left-wing propaganda. And I show you, like, this is propaganda versus results. One of the things I've seen online, and I don't know if it's a paid campaign or not, but I want you to just focus on results for a second. I want to prove to you right now what you're hearing.
A paid campaign. A paid campaign. We got Monty Muffin Fluffer over on Rumble with $20 Rumble rant. Thank you so much, Monty, for that. Rumble representing. Rumble, you guys can send in super chats and channel memberships too, just so you know. The main delineation between a real journalist and a grifting talker is who brings the firsthand evidence from the field. Sadly, there are very few who stay in the latter lane. I stay in the latter lane. I only look at primary source evidence on this channel, guys. So if you want the primary source evidence about the far left, I will show you the primary source evidence. We look at it almost every single day of the week on the channel, except when we have to take time out to listen to conservative retards lie to their audience. So you never have to take my word for it. I'm not like Dan Bongino. I'm not going to say pinky swear, trust me, bro. I will show you the evidence directly, and you can watch it for yourself. I do not take clips out of context. We watch the whole thing, and you can decide what you think about it, and if I'm right, or if Dan Bongino is right. Yo! Prita in with 5 gifted channel memberships. W's to you, my dear. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Unlike Dan Bongino, I'm not a millionaire, as it turns out. I am not a millionaire, but I am 100% independently funded, and that's more important to me.
It's bullshit. Is you see a bunch of people out there going like, the Trump administration has given up on mass deportations of illegals. Ladies and gentlemen, that is just completely, totally inaccurate. It's just not true. Like, you can believe it if you choose to be upset.
You believe
I
it
can't
if
tell
you
you what
want
to
to.
believe or
God,
not.
I'm
just telling
you.
you, believing in something not worth in believing in because it's not true. There was a slight dip in the number of deportations that is now back up to record numbers. It is not because of the administration, President Trump, Steve Miller, the Attorney General, Tom Homan, the border czar, because they have any less desire to rid the country of people here illegally breaking the law. It had a lot to do with the Democrat-enforced government shutdown.
Oh!
But now the numbers are back to record numbers where they have been before. So again, you can say all you want.
Guys, it wasn't Trump's fault that mass deportations aren't happening. It's not Republicans' fault. It's not like Republicans control the presidency and the House and the Senate and the Supreme Court. It's not their fault that mass deportations aren't happening. It's the Democrats' fault that the mass deportations aren't happening. No, Dan, it's actually the far left's fault because they're the ones that prevented the mass deportations from happening with the constant anti-ICE organizing. That's actually what happened, Dan, you fucking retard.
If you want to destroy the Trump administration, well, they've lost focus on mass deportation. It's just not true. We saw this when we were at the Bureau for the first year. We'd see these things about and you'd be like, that's not, I don't know what you're talking about.
I signed the book. I don't know what that means.
Did you just make this up? And a lot of people fell for it.
The fuck does that mean?
Here's Tom Homan. I mean, there's anyone you're going to trust on this issue. No one knows the border better than him. Dispelling these myths that they've somehow lost focus on mass deportations. It's just not true. Check this out.
Will this change on vehicle stops lower the rate of deportation?
Nice. I didn't address that for me.
Greg Bovino disagrees, you retard.
The administration's lost their with the guts with, mass.
Excuse me. Has she told us how to defeat the communists yet? Chat, pop quiz for people who have been watching my content. Pop quiz. How do we defeat the communists? Pop quiz for the chat. Have I told you how to defeat the communists yet? Pop quiz. How do you defeat the communists? She talks about how to defeat the communists all the time. One thing you'd have to do is study and shut the fuck up. You have to learn the language. You have to learn who your enemy is, know your enemy. You sit down, you shut the fuck up, and you listen to what the left is doing. You shut the fuck up and listen, and you have to learn about your enemy to know how to defeat them. You have to learn more. We have to arrest them. True, we have to get rid of their documents and expose them. How about we put them all in fucking concentration camps? Pretty sure I've said that about a million times. Shut up and listen. Learn your enemy and their tactics. Know your enemy. Learn the language and know the enemy. First, you have to listen to them so you can understand them. Once you learn who the enemy is, you will know what to do. Know your enemy. Most importantly, studying your fucking enemy. Shut the fuck up and listen and learn about the fucking enemy. Are we being clear? Are we being clear to all of the retards who think that I don't tell people how to defeat the left? We study the enemy, learn their language, and we shut the fuck up and listen. You take your top lip to your bottom, attach it to your bottom lip, and shut the fuck up. Listen, watch this important instructional video. This will tell you how to defeat the left right here.
You take your top lip and connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the best thing you can do.
Learn who the fuck you're fighting is the actual start. You have to learn about them in order to defeat them. Have we answered the question? Yup, lock all their asses up. Arrest all of them. Arrest all of them. Put them in a fucking concentration camp. That's how you defeat the enemy, retard. That's how you defeat the enemy, retard. Please let me know if you have any further fucking questions or if I should just deport you from the channel now. Yo, we got a W for K Stern over on Rumble, gifting a channel membership. Thank you so much, K Stern. Appreciate you.
Deportations. And do you know, June, last month, ICE arrested more aliens than any month in the history of the agency. So, you know, people say ICE is not serious about this job.
Yeah. Do you know how you don't defeat the communists? You say they're Democrats. How do you defeat the far left when you think the communists are Democrats and the Democrats are communists? You know what isn't gonna fucking work? No, okay, joystick. What's the left's definition of capitalism? Go. Know your enemy is day one tactic. Okay, joystick. Let's see how well you know the enemy. No one else answer this. What is the left's definition of capitalism, joystick? This is 101 level information. If you know your enemy, you should know the left's definition of capitalism. Let us know. If you don't answer in 30 seconds, I'm permanently banning you from the chat. We're not giving you time to AI this. We're not giving you time to look this up. What is the left's definition of capitalism? You have 30 seconds to answer before I permanently ban you in the chat. It's 3 words long. It's not fucking hard. Answer the fucking question. This is day one tactics. Okay, we're going to ask you day one information then. What is the left's definition of capitalism? You have 15 seconds to answer. You haven't answered yet. We're waiting. Do you know basic 101 level information? Do you want to know why I have to repeat to you retards time and time and time again to shut the fuck up and listen? Because when you are asked basic 101 level information, you don't know the answer. Oh, look, she doesn't know the fucking answer. How does knowing the definition getting them locked up? Hey, no. One more try, joystick. One more try. Answer the fucking question. What is the left's definition of capitalism? You said you knew all the day one information. This is day one information, you dumb fucking cunt. What is the left's definition of capitalism? Either say the answer or admit you don't fucking know because you're a fucking retard that never shut the fuck up and listened. We're waiting. We're waiting for your answer for someone who knows everything. You already know all the information. This is a basic question that you should be able to answer very, 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 very fucking simply. Do you know the answer or don't you, you dumb bitch? We're waiting. The entire chat is waiting for you. Oh, look, still not answering. Still not answering. Joystick, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You're obviously not smart enough to be here. It's you, not us. We have to deport you from the channel. I must gatekeep my community from retards like you. Get the fuck out and don't come back. Yo, we got a super chat from Dawn. The first 3 months I watched, I never commented. I learned more from Karlyn than anyone. It is a bitter pill to swallow when you realize you've been gaslit and lied to. You have to know your enemy. Thank you so much, Dawn, for the wonderful super chat and the wonderful compliment. Really appreciate it. W's to Focus, gifting a channel membership. Thank you so much, Focus, for supporting the channel.
Well, the most aliens arrested in the history of the agency, more than last year. More than when you had the FBI, ATF, DEA, Border Patrol, ICE all out there. ICE by themselves, with their 287G partners, had the most arrests in history of the agency. Now, were numbers down for a few months? Yeah.
Is Tom Homan able to speak without slurring his words? Why am I listening to a doddering old man who is slurring his words? This is the person that's going to protect the border? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Why? Because the department was shut down, right? Agents weren't getting overtime paid. They weren't getting travel. I mean, the travel cards were maxed out, so they couldn't travel to operations. The targeting wasn't being funded like it should have been. So the department was shut down. So of course the numbers are shut down.
Again, it's only because I really do. To the men out there, the manpanions, the women out there, love you all. I really just appreciate the truth. What do I say all the time? Don't fall in love with people or politicians. Fall in love with results.
Yeah, okay, Dan.
Tom Homan has never been known as a bullshitter. When there's an issue they have to fix, he goes out and fixes it. If he has to work with a Democrat mayor to get a result, he's going to do it, even though it may not be the popular thing. But he's not going to lie to you about stuff. Folks, I just bring this up not to get into a big prolonged discussion about deportations today at the beginning of the show. It is super important. But I bring it up to show you that when you start sifting through the propaganda and bullshit, a lot of paid campaigns to doom and gloom the administration so you don't show up and vote. Some of it, candidly, is just, disgruntled.
Yo, not Tina Kotex. Gifting 10 channel memberships. I so appreciate you, bro, and I so appreciate all of the support you've been giving. I am gonna, I'm gonna send you a DM on Twitter. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. And just so you know, I'm not whatever about that thing that I DM'd you about last night. I don't really care. It's fine. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. It's not a big deal. I'm gonna send you a DM about that. But I do want you to know that I do appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for the 10 gifted channel memberships, bro. Everyone do W's in the chat. Not Tina Kotex, intrepid streamer in the Portland area.
People who just don't like the Trump administration. Maybe they lost in a primary to him or whatever. It's just bullshit. Go look up what Tom Homan just said. They didn't lose interest in mass deportations. I've worked personally with both of these guys. Not as much with Tom. I typically dealt with my DHS counterparts and Steve Miller on this. If you think Steve Miller and the Trump administration have lost focus on mass deportations, I'm sorry. Please put the crack pipe down. Put it down. Crack is whack. It's not good for you. It's really bad. You could die.
Don't do
really
drugs,
ugly
kids.
Deaths.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Where's the Michael Jordan? Freaking fly. Imagine these flies follow us from the old house. Remember that? Where's the Michael Jordan? Stop
it. Get some help.
Please, just get some help. It's just not true. Why waste your time burning any energy on something that's total bullshit? Okay, moving on. Because
Yo, we got K Stern with another gifted channel membership on Rumble. Is this the day that Rumble is going to hold it down too? W's to you, K Stern. Really appreciate it.
The fight is real. The fight against the Democrat, socialist, communist, tyrant, oligarchs, starvation specialists, mass murderers, because that's what communists are, is real. And it's here now. So if we think about it, right? If we have 10 units of energy to burn in a day, whatever, your soul has 10 units of energy. Do you want to waste a single unit of energy on a talking point against the Trump administration? It turns out it's not even real. Why would you do that?
Yes.
Came up the other day.
Why would I waste time talking about all the ways in which the Trump administration is screwing up? Dan Bongino's Why would you even waste time saying bad things about Trump? Why don't you just say positive things about Trump? Dan, do you want to know why I shit on retards like you and all the fucking con artists in the Trump administration? Because I actually care about defeating the left, Dan. And currently, the retards in the White House aren't doing shit to stop Antifa. They aren't doing shit to stop anti-ICE organizing. They are doing nothing to oppose the far left in this country. That is why I will drag the Trump administration until people wake the fuck up and start hinging into reality to see that we are massively losing to the far left, while retards like Dan Bongino and all of his crony friends in Washington, D.C. high-five each other after they get rich lying to their own fucking audiences.
Happened, and I was chatting with Jasmine and Paula, and we were like, I got all this energy to burn. Do we really want to waste any time on this? And everyone unanimously was like, no, we don't, because it's just stupid. Like, let's just move it. That's this thing. Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson has been pretty clear about the threat we're dealing with. Listen, man, again, I know people have beefs with politics, and that's cool. Like, that's what we do. It's a republic. We argue about politicians all the time. But there's no doubt that members of Congress, the good ones right now, on the Republican side, understand the gravity of the threat. That's why I titled this show today, "They're a Danger to You and Your Family." It's because of this clip. We need more of this. The Republican Party out there, the leadership, the people with microphones, even if you're not in leadership, you're like a John Kennedy on the Senate side who does speak pretty clearly, but is on Fox all the time. We need to speak clearly about this threat from these commies. There's no more dicking around, beating around the bush. We need to speak clearly, just like
Dan. Are you actually admitting that you've been dicking around, educating your audience about the threat of the far left up until this point, but now you're ready to start taking it seriously? How long has Dan Bongino had a fucking podcast? How long has Dan Bongino been speaking to millions of people all across the country? But he was just dicking around up until this point. But guys, now it's different, and Dan Bongino is ready to take the problem seriously. After how many years? Over a fucking decade of having a podcast? But, oh, no, you're definitely going to tell us the truth now, Dan. Sure. Thank you, Drew, for being a member of the channel for 20 months. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you for the member chat. Again, Dan, you were dicking around before, but now you're focused. Okay.
We'll have beefs with politics, and that's cool. Like, that's what we do. It's a republic. We argue about politicians all the time. But there's no doubt that members of Congress, the good ones right now, on the Republican side, understand the gravity of the threat. That's why I titled this show today, "They're a Danger to You and Your Family." It's because of this clip. We need more of this. The Republican Party out there, the leadership, the people with microphones, even if you're not in leadership, you're like a John Kennedy on the Senate side who does speak pretty clearly, but is on Fox all the time. We need to speak clearly about this threat from these commies. There's no more dicking around, beating around the bush. We need to speak clearly, just like he did yesterday. Here's where I got the title for today's show, because he's 100% correct. Check this out.
To remove the carceral state, they said. No prisons. They don't want to fund the police. This is not a game. Everybody needs to understand these crazy little mini Mamdanis who are popping up all around the country. They are a danger to you and your family.
Just so we're very, very clear, there are many people on the left who are significantly further left than Zoran Mandami. Just in case you're new here and this is your first exposure to actual content about the left, the DSA is a problem. The DSA is a very big problem. But even bigger than that are revolutionary socialists and communists who are much further left than the DSA. Much more. Even my dog is pissed off. Even my dog from the downstairs is like, what the fuck is that asshole talking about? I've been listening to you yell for years about this, and even I know the DSA are not the most far-left people in the fucking country. Even my fucking Chewini knows that the DSA are not the most far-left fucking violent revolutionaries in the country, you fuckwit. My dog understands. He understands. He's been listening. My dog and my husband have been listening to me yell about this for years and years and years and years and years. They understand. They understand. They know. Illustration Station! W's, my dear! Thank you so much for the gifted channel memberships. Really, really appreciate it.
This is not a game. If they promise you free stuff, there is far more beneath those promises that even some of these people do not understand.
God.
Themselves. And so we are here as the Republican Party to stand on the founding.
Even the socialists don't understand what they're saying. Yes, they do. We spend almost all of our fucking time on this channel listening to the socialists talk about their ideas directly. They understand what they are saying. Do you know who does not understand what they're saying? Fucking Republican retards like Mike Johnson. It is not the left who doesn't know what they're talking about. It is the right. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it, bro. W's to you. Yeah, fuckwit. It's a good word, okay? It's a good word. I hope you guys use it in Australia more than we use it here.
Americans
we got an
used to
ad.
enjoy swelling free legs, even into their 80s. But now, almost 85% of us struggle with puffy feet before we even hit 60.
This is not a game. Everybody needs to understand these crazy little mini Mamdanis who are popping up all around the country. They are a danger to you and your family. This is not a game. If they promise you free stuff, there is far more beneath those promises that even some of these people do not understand themselves. And so we are here as the Republican Party to stand on the founding principles of the greatest nation in the history of the world.
Yeah, I know.
It is our duty
so
to
fucked.
do that.
We are
Folks,
so
again,
fucked,
I
guys.
appreciate results. Don't fall in love with politicians. However, I respect the fact that he's willing to speak so clearly on this issue. And I just hope more Republicans with microphones who are out there are speaking in these exact same terms. You don't need PhD, fake experts on political science to tell you that.
Guys, you don't need a PhD level fake expert. You don't need a PhD level fake expert like me. Don't listen to people like me, the PhDs who are trying to educate the world about what's going on. Listen to Dan Bongino and Mike Johnson. They know everything, guys.
That communism leads to death, destruction, murder, starvation, and economic depravity. You don't need, all you need is freaking ChatGPT or Grok. You can look it up. I said this last.
All you need is ChatGPT or Grok. I have used AI extensively to research the far left. AI is a wonderful tool. It really is. Do you know what I've learned using AI to do research and analysis on the far left? Is although you can get a ton of really good information from it and it can help you increase your analysis of trends and that sort of thing, AI makes shit up all the time. You literally have to go and fact check every single thing that AI is telling you, because although it can be amazing and really speed up a lot of research and analysis, and it can be awesome, it can also be bullshit in that it literally makes stuff up all the time. But no, Dan Bongino just wants you to rely on AI and Grok to study the far left, guys. Don't actually look at the primary sources. Just type a question into Grok and that's all you need to do.
Night talking to Sean on the Fox program last night. If you want to know what living under socialism looks like, do yourself a favor. If you're really curious, you should be, correct? If you're a Democrat who's not a progressive liberal but a mainstream Democrat but's getting ready to fall for this socialist bullshit, there's an example out there of what it looks like to live under the system you may fall for.
Oh my God. This is so bad. Deets, thank you for the super chat. Not a fan of the far left, but they are generally high IQ and truthful. They are truly the opposite of the right. It's just so bad. It's just so bad. It's like, this is why the left is operating completely unopposed. Because the right is stupid. They really are. Not everyone on the right is stupid, but the smart people on the right know that what I'm saying is true. So if you're a conservative and you're getting in your feelings right now and you're like, Karlyn, I'm a conservative and I'm not stupid and I'm listening. Okay, but you have to admit, if you are a smart conservative that is hinging into reality, you are surrounded by retards on your own side. And if you are intellectually honest, you will agree with me. So while smart conservatives do exist, they also must admit that they are surrounded by retardation on their own fucking team. And that is why the right is constantly losing and the left is constantly winning.
You can go ask any Cuban refugee in South Florida. Just go find someone, friend them on Facebook or whatever. DM them on X. Hey, I saw your avatar.
Just DM a Cuban on X, guys. That's going to solve everything.
Like? You could ask him. The guy who used to cut my hair, Robert, is a refugee from Cuba. You got to hear his stories. They're horrendous. I got to tell you, they were like depressing. Sometimes I'd be getting a haircut.
John, thank you so much for being a gold member of the channel, bro. And thank you for all the support and super chats and channel memberships that you send in. I really, really appreciate it, bro. You rock.
Good mood. I leave in a bad mood. These stories are depressing. You can ask them. It's called homework. If you want to know what it's like to, build a coffee.
By the way, guys, if you just got in, we will be watching Dan Bongino's retardation, both from yesterday's stream and from today's stream, up until Trump's address tonight. So Trump is giving a big prime time address tonight. So we will be watching that live on the channel when it comes on. We're just watching retard content up until then, so I can yell and lose my voice. So you're welcome to hang out with us until then if you want to watch that speech tonight.
Table out of like a piece of tree wood, you would probably ask a carpenter, correct? Like, what is that like? You wouldn't ask the PhD in woodworking who's never built a table in their lives.
Yep.
But you won't do that.
No PhDs,
reason
guys.
I bring this up is this is how crazy
no
these freaking people are and why we need more
allowed.
Mike Johnsons with leadership positions and microphones to speak out about the deadly threat from this pernicious, cancerous infection in our body politic called socialism. Folks, listen to me, brothers and sisters. These people are not effing around, man. They are not kidding. However crazy you think they are, they're crazier. I told you, it's the easiest show in the world to put together because all you have to do is play their words. Here's this little socialist group here. They're talking on this like Zoom session or whatever. And listen to me, if you're a Cuban refugee, a refugee from a former Soviet republic living in the United States under communism, if you have escaped the hell, depravity, and starvation of communism and living here, you are their worst enemy. What? No, I'm serious. Listen to this guy in this clip. Talk about how we should bomb LA and Miami because there are Iranian and Cuban refugees there speaking out against socialism. Again, brothers and sisters, I'm just playing their own words. They're a danger to you and their family, and they are who you think they are. At the Dennis Green. Check this out.
Seeing the Iranian diaspora, just cheer on their country getting just bombed. Like what? There has to be an Olympic competition between the worst gusanos in the world, and on the podium, competing for gold, you have the Cubans on the one side, and the Iranians on the other. Just bomb parts of large swaths of LA and Miami. It'd be a better planet for it.
All I'm doing is playing their words. Oh, clearly they're kidding. Are they? Are they?
We got a super chat from Andre. Did you hear Elon is funding Vivek? I did not hear that. Even Elon knows the Republicans are fucked. I don't think he does know that. I don't think funding Vivek means he knows the Republicans are fucked. I don't think he does know that. Not yet. Maybe he'll figure it out at some point. Thanks so much for the super chat, though. Appreciate it.
It's not like the Cuban and Iranian regimes in Cuba and Iran have not done that exact thing, killed and destroyed their own people.
Elon supports Indian fucking immigrants, so fuck him, honestly.
Folks, these people.
Anyone who supports immigrating more, no offense to Indians, I love their food. Any fucking person who supports mass immigration of fucking Indians into America to take American jobs can go fuck themselves right off. That's how I feel about that. I don't want any more. We have enough Indians in this country. We have enough Indian food restaurants in this country right now. We don't need any more. Send all the rest, unless the Indian immigrant are currently employed at a really good Indian food restaurant, I want them sent the fuck back to Delhi.
People are a danger to you and your family. This is not a political race to sit out. The days of the Bill Clinton Democrat Party, whatever, Tip O'Neill sitting down with Reagan with coffee or whatever. I'm not even sure that halcyon days were ever there. I'm telling you, like, those days are over. I warned you years ago when people would tell me, when AOC first popped on the screen, we would get this all, the Guy was here, so was Justin at the time. People would be in the chat, be like, oh man, just ignore her, Streisand effect, you're giving her too much attention. I said, no, we're not. This woman, for as crazy as she is, and she's really not that bright, is very charismatic and understands social media. She understands messaging vehicles. And this socialism message has an appeal to people. It just does.
God.
Folks, sharing and free stuff, and everybody's going to be rich and get free healthcare. Why would that not appeal to you? Why would that not? We're the party that has to give people the hard answers.
Yeah, okay.
We're the party. We have to do the education portion of this. And nobody wants.
Guys, one in the chat, if you would like Dan Bongino to be in charge of educating people about socialism and the far left. 2 in the chat, if you would prefer that I be in charge of educating people about Antifa and the far left. 1 in the chat, if you would prefer that Dan Bongino be the person in charge of educating people about Antifa and the far left. 2 in the chat, if you would prefer me. Let me know.
When I first started this show, I said we should do like a, Bongino Report University on the weekends. And we should do like a show on, the fallacies of gun control and just keep them as like staple evergreen material. And the company I was working with at the time said, I love the idea, but people hate the idea of like a university. They don't want to feel like they're in like a professor's class. I'm like, well, I'm not a professor, but I got the point.
I am.
Folks, this is the difficult part.
Guys, do you want to feel like you're in a classroom when you're on my channel? 1 in the chat if you like that I am the professor of my fucking classroom on the channel. 2 in the chat if you think being in a university is stupid and you don't want to do that. 1 in the chat if you like that I am the professor in the university that is my channel and I gatekeep out all of the retards so that we can actually focus on what's going on. 2 in the chat if you think that being in a university classroom setting with a PhD level professor is stupid and dumb.
You don't educate your friends and neighbors about the danger ahead, it's going to be knocking at your door. Famous last words are, that can't happen here. No, it can. It can. I'm going to take a quick break, but I think about, I'm going to show you something. I got another one coming. You think the election fraud stuff? This goes to show you what like a lack of detachment.
Yeah, we got to do that. That's a good idea, Alex.
I just want to bring this up because if you go back, I'm obsessed with history. Go back and look at, Fort Sumter and the Civil War. How people were convinced, like, even after Fort Sumter, like, this would eventually simmer down.
Grillless in with the super sticker. Thank you, bro, for all your support. You rock. Appreciate you so much. Yo, we got a couple others. Hang on. I'm the only one who shows hard proof of the left. Thank you for that. We got Half Orc Fighter, 1 on both Chat Light and Dark Liquor. I'm not dealing with this nonsense sober. I know. Professor Karlyn, thank you so much, bro. Appreciate it. Appreciate you very, very much.
And it wouldn't, result in a full-blown war. Some of the initial Civil War battles, people were showing up to watch. Like it was going to be like a reenactment. And then they were fleeing for their lives. Like, holy Moses, like this is a real, like people are dying. That's how this stuff happens. It's like bankruptcy, as the old adage goes. happens gradually, and then all of a sudden, that's how countries collapse.
Ooh.
We're not letting that happen.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. We have a conservative threatening me in the chat. We have a conservative threatening me in the chat. Excuse me. You called me a low IQ retard on X a couple weeks back. I can't imagine why, retard. I can't imagine why. Well, FYI, I managed to find out exactly where in Merrimack you live. New Hampshire is small. I'd love to run into you. Well, bro, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? If you ever come near my house, we have a fuck ton of guns. We got small guns. We got big guns. We got small guns that I can carry in my purse because I can conceal carry in New Hampshire. We got small guns that fit in every single fucking purse I have. We also got knives. We've also got big fucking guns in the house too. So you better hope that you don't show up in my house when my husband is home because he's going to have the small guns and the knife. I'm going to have the big gun from the high vantage point that sees every entrance into my house. So you can try your fucking luck if you want to run into me in New Hampshire and you can see what fucking happens. But in the meantime, we're banning your ass from the chat, obviously. Deets, why doesn't Dan talk about what he did to combat the far left as the deputy director of the FBI? Did he even do anything in that role? That is a great question. That is a great question, Deets. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I can also beat your asses with my purses. Don't think I'm above that. What an idiot to believe I don't carry a gun with me at all times. Are you fucking stupid?
Not on this show. Quick break and we'll get back to this. Wait till I show you this next clip, too. What does Vince call MSNOW? Ms. Now? I think we're going to... Vince calls it Ms. Now. I think we're going to... I like Ms. Now better. We're going to stick with Ms. Now. Hey, let me tell you something. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. A handshake, they get their commission, everything's done. And you may not hear from them again until it's time.
No sales, Dan. Fuck you.
If you
Fuck
want.
you. I don't have to do sales and ad reads on like Dan Bongino.
El Baron. Sounds like a wrestling name from, right? El Baron. Right, doesn't it? The old, like, when you put the mask on and stuff. They are who you think they are. Folks, be proud. Like what do I do on this show? Beginning of the show, I hear a rumor out there. President Trump and his team aren't focused on mass deportations. I go out, find a stat, find a credible source. Tom Homan, he's the freaking border czar, he knows. We debunk it. Everybody moves on. We don't stew on it. The left, it doesn't matter how many times you tell the socialists and the socialists in the media that what they're saying is stupid and inaccurate. It doesn't matter if you present to them ChatGPT, OpenAI, Grok, the Encyclopedia Britannica, the government's own numbers. They're just stupid because
Gladiator girl. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining the cult. Your life is over. You're never going to see the world the same way again. You're never, ever, ever leaving the cult, but you'll have friends during the Marxist Revolution, and that's pretty cool. W's to you, my dear. Thank you.
Stupid is a choice, and they want to be stupid. Here's what I mean. Ms. Now, MSNOW, has already decided that President Trump's primetime speech tomorrow, in case you hadn't heard, he's going to give one, I believe, from the Oval or at least from the White House. And one of the components of it is supposed to be some new information about the 2020 election, which you and I have covered endlessly and all the suspicious nonsense that went on there, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, what day is it, Justin, today?
We're going to watch that later, by the way.
Americans used to enjoy swelling free legs even into their 80s, but now almost 80.
Yeah, no, what day of the week? What Wednesday. The speech is tomorrow. What's the day after Wednesday? So Thursday comes after Wednesday, correct? Yeah, he's right. Well,
did Dan Bongino just have to ask his producer if Thursday came after Wednesday? We used to do this, and the problem is that people didn't read the fucking book before they showed up to book club. We used to have a book club all the time, honestly. We used to do it like several times a year. But then I found out that no one was reading the book except me, and so when we showed up to book club, it was impossible to have a discussion about it because people I think had full intention of reading the book and they were interested in reading the book. It just doesn't work. So that's why we don't do book club anymore. But I like the idea, but like, we can watch videos. We watch videos and discuss the videos. We don't do book club. We watch the videos directly. We watch the primary source evidence. Probably not because we got a lot of shit we need to watch. But we will do video club. How about that? Dan, please ask your producer again if Thursday is after Wednesday, just so we can really have an accurate understanding of the intellect we're dealing with here.
I believe from the Oval, or at least from the White House. And one of the components of it is supposed to be some new information about the 2020 election, which you and I have covered endlessly, and all the suspicious nonsense that went on there, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, what day is it, Justin, today? Yeah, no, what day of the week? What Wednesday. The speech is tomorrow. What's the day after Wednesday? So Thursday comes after Wednesday, correct? Yeah, he's right. Well, you'll see where he's going with that. Justin just said, pay attention. The majority of Thursdays do come after Wednesdays. Hold that thought, and you'll see where he gets this in a couple minutes.
Okay.
We're waiting. The speech hasn't happened yet. MSNOW and Stephanie Rule, they have not heard it. They've heard none of the information, but they're already convinced that these are baseless charges.
I'm glad we could clear that up for you, bro.
They haven't seen it yet. This is what stupidity looks like when it's a choice. Check this out.
It appears the president is entering a new chapter in his effort to question the results of the 2020 election and potentially sow doubt in the upcoming midterms. A new White House task force is expected to begin releasing documents on alleged and so far absolutely baseless evidence of election irregularities in the coming weeks. That is according to two officials with knowledge of the matter. An acting director of national intelligence,
this will go somewhere.
Will be a part of it. I'm going to guess front and center.
Why not just wait? I'm not playing dumb here like the left.
I don't think you're playing at all.
I promise.
I don't think you're playing at all, Dan.
Why not just wait till after Thursday? Because as Justin said, the majority of Thursdays come after.
Wow.
You know what? We may have to play this clip next. Can you pull that one? Okay, that's really funny, Justin. I tell you. Sometimes they say stuff, it's not funny, and I ignore it. They don't. I'll be like, ha, 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 whatever. That's funny. Thursday hasn't happened. If you were a journalist with a shred of credibility, how can you criticize a report as baseless that you haven't seen? Folks, Andy, is this like,
how do people listen to this every day?
You haven't seen it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to...
Okay. Hang on. Do you guys understand now? We have been listening to Dan Bongino's show for like an hour? No, we are 30 minutes. We are 30 minutes into his show. Do you guys understand how people who listen to this show from start to finish every single day have been made functionally retarded by this shit? I have never listened to Dan Bongino in long form in my life. I have already lost about 20 IQ points just in the listening of this content. Can you imagine what this has done to conservative normies who were told that this is the guy that you should that you should be listening to? And if you listen to him all day, every day, you listen to this for like hours a day, even like 1 hour a day. Do you know that that's going to make you functionally retarded? You may be smart when you start listening to Dan Bongino, but if you keep listening to him over and over and over again, you will become functionally retarded.
The Martin County Republican Club, and I'm going to try this theory out. There's going to be a keynote speaker, whatever, be Joey Bag of Donuts or whatever. And before the speech happens, I'm going to tap the guy next to me. I'm going to, Joey, that speech was terrible. The guy's going to go, bro, that speech hasn't happened yet. It was bad. He's going to look at you like you're a dipshit because it hasn't happened yet. But it's already baseless. Don't be be these morons. The Trump team has lost focus on mass deportations. Actually, they're at record numbers. Why did you say that? I don't know. I heard it somewhere. Well, it's our obligation to like kind of look it up.
I'm going to text my husband right now and I'm going to say, Victor, can you pick me up a bottle of peanut butter whiskey on your way home? Thank you, darling. I love you. I appreciate it. Peanut butter whiskey, the screwball one, the one with the lamb on it. That's the one I like. I very rarely drink brown liquor, but like, I really think Dan Bongino might be driving me to drink brown liquor tonight. I think that's the case.
Right? I'm not doing that. I swear. I'd rather have no audience than be these bullshitters in the griftosphere podcastistan. To show you evidence. It's coming tomorrow, maybe the next day. Sign up for my super chat. Only suckers do that. Pretty soon, like, demand information.
Dan Bongino has not given one piece of evidence in this entire fucking show for any single thing that he's said.
Here's what I mean. This clip is for later in the show, but this is what it looks like when you say stupid things like the majority of Thursdays come after Wednesdays. It's kind of like saying, you know, the majority of births happen with biological.
I'm not actually going to get the whiskey, by the way. I
you
would
mean like
die if I drank
100% throughout human history? Like that
I'm just going to smoke more weed. That's what we're going to do.
Might as well throw
weed is
plurality in
superior
there
to
next.
whiskey.
Check this out.
The vast majority of pregnancies are in women, and I have absolutely no problem with using the word pregnant women. I use it myself.
Has a non-biological woman ever had a baby?
A transgender person can.
That's not a biological woman. Has a non-biological woman ever had a baby?
I would
No,
reiterate, we
it's
take
ridiculous.
You're right. You know what? You're fucking right.
I give up. Show's
You're
over.
fucking
I
right. The
can't-
vape
I
isn't
can't
strong
take the
enough for this.
freaking
You're fucking
stupid.
right. You're
Folks,
fucking
this is
right.
what I
That's
say,
okay.
Stupid. Syac in the chat. Stupid is a freaking choice. You know, Vince is right. Chatting with Vince, the interview, he's like, you know why this content is so good, so terrible for the country, so good for the US?
I would
Because it
die if I
enrages
drank
people
peanut butter
because it's
whiskey,
so
Reagan. I would
freaking
be
dumb.
out for like
I'm
3
sitting here
days.
doing the pre-show, and I'm talking to Jasmine. I'm like, you've got to realize when you say dumb shit like this that the actual majority, like 95% of America, probably more, knows your Muttley's in the chat. Muttley's mixed with the Syacs, right? This is like,
drugs are bad, kids.
They're laughing at you. They think you're a tool. Why do you keep going down this road? Why?
Drugs are bad.
How many times are you going to make the same mistake with the same stupid shit?
Don't do drugs, kids.
Defund the police. Nobody believes that's effective at doing anything except increasing the crime rate and getting your ass killed. Open borders. Nobody sane believes that. Men can get pregnant. They cannot. There is no scenario. I am a man. I cannot get pregnant. There is no scenario by which that is ever going to happen in a quadrillion lifetimes. It's
Stunning
not
and
going to
brave,
happen,
Dan.
bro.
Stunning and brave. Stunning and brave.
Why do you keep saying stupid shit? Because stupid's a choice.
Stupid is a choice.
Don't ever make that choice on our side. Because this is what a movement looks like. This is why, despite the Democrats having the media, academia, the sports world, even some components of the country music world, thought figures and influencers all on their side, we still, the Republican Party and the MAGA movement, continue to perform well in elections. Everybody's against us. It's like that Giphy with there was a Game of Thrones guy with the sword and all the horse. I think it's Game of Thrones and the horses charge out. That's you. And yet we're still holding up and winning elections because most people see through this bullshit. Why did I bring up the defund the police stuff? Because out there in Michigan, we got to play the opponent next. I don't know what they did here. Okay. I'm being straight with you, man. I don't know what they did here. First, let's play up. So the Michigan United States Senate race is critical. The Republicans stand a really good chance of taking this seat in Michigan, and we're going to need it to hold the Senate. We're going to need it. The Democrat slate of candidates, all of these goofball socialists, are like, it's like the Jim Carrey, they're like Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber and Dumberer. They're really that stupid. Here's social.
Guys, it's the socialists who are stupid and dumb and dumb and dumberer. Even though they're winning their primaries and defeating the fucking Democrats. But guys, Dan Bongino assures you the socialists are really stupid, okay?
Socialist communist Abdul El-Sayed, who's leading in the polls. This guy could be the Democrat nominee. This is from a couple of years ago. Talking openly about, why do the police need guns? I don't know, to shoot back at the bad guys, you dopies. I'm just playing his words. Just his words. Check this out.
Do police really need to use guns? Do we need as much of a police force? And so if we ask ourselves about how we spend money.
He's making the argument to abolish the police because the police are the managers or enforcers of capitalism. The left is trying to overthrow capitalism, private property ownership. They believe the police only exist to protect the property of the bourgeois, the ownership class, the oppressors. They are trying to abolish the police because abolishing the police abolishes the managers or the protectors of capitalism, and it gets them one step closer to overthrowing the fucking government. Dan, you fucking retard.
Money in the public, where that money goes, where it comes from. We need to make a lot better decisions about investing in the things that root out poverty rather than investing in policing poverty.
It's not funny. You're going to vote for this idiot?
Real. Yeah.
This guy's going to be your senator. Why do the police need guns? I don't know, so they don't get dead? Is that ever... Why do they need body armor? Because bad guys shoot at them? In liberal states, you guys run more than any other place? How do you keep falling for this? Because stupid is a choice and you choose to be stupid. What the hell do you want them to use? Foul language?
Do you know why we have to block so many people in our chat, guys? Because stupid is a choice. You choose to be stupid.
That's real. That's not AI. All right. I'm about to be surprised on my own show.
They're calling
Let's play the original first. So you want to see why this
Lucy,
crazy Abdul El-Sayed could be a U.S. Senator from Michigan? This defund the police. Why do the police need guns? Absolute imbecile. Stupid's a choice. Don't take it. Here's his opponent. This is not... this is real. This played last night on Hannity's show. So, you're sitting in the van getting ready for they pull a van up my house, right? And you're getting ready for the hit. And I'm watching.
The real reason you're stiff
after sitting. I'm actually grateful for that commercial to give us a brief moment of levity or reprieve.
Watching this hit, and I swear I thought it was a parody. I didn't think this is real. This is real. This is his opponent, Abdul El-Sayed, running for the U.S. Senate seat in Michigan. Haley Stevens, given one of the most cringe, I don't know if she's trying to be like a fake Newt Rockney on this. This is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is like the Little League coach parody. This is the original. This actually happened. Check this out.
I am going to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf. And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way.
This woman is also retarded. Just so we're clear, both things can be true. This woman can be retarded, and Dan Bongino and his audience can also be retarded at the same time. What's up? No, he's just not.
Andy's like really creative with the rest of the crew here. I didn't even know that. What is that? Is this like, that they watch like Motley's in the chat?
Yo! We got K-Start on Rumble! W's, my dear. Thank you for the gifted channel membership.
I didn't even expect them to do it. They literally did this in like 5 minutes. I mean, that was the actual time window. I hate that word. I said, guys, you got to put something. Justin's like, I got an idea.
Hey,
he's like,
listen, Lucy's saying in the chat, I try to get more to learn, but they just laugh at me to try to argue with stuff I learned here. Lucy, what you have to learn is that many, many people on the right are far too stupid to understand the content we cover on this channel. And I appreciate you fighting the good fight. And I appreciate everyone who goes out there and they try to teach people. Sometimes you will find people that want to listen. There are many times when people in this chat have gone out and they've been able to teach other people and bring other people into the community and show other people, and those people are capable of listening and learning. There are, however, many times that you will find that you are talking to someone that is literally just not smart enough to understand. They are not intellectually capable. And I know it can be disappointing. I know. You have to come to a realization that if you can follow the content I do, you are probably above average IQ. You are probably smarter than most people. And because of that, there are many, 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 many people who are stupider than you. And we cannot waste our time with those people. Give it an attempt, give it a good fight, but once you figure out it's not going in, it's just not. And you'll get better at this after a while. You'll learn how to figure out more and more quickly. Oh, that person, no, it's not going to work. You learn how to identify it very quickly after a while because they behave the same way over and over and over again. You have to save your strength. You have to save your energy. You have to pick your battles, and you have to be able to focus on the people who can learn and just stay as far away as possible from the people who are not smart enough to get it, because you're never going to be able to break through. It's too thick. I wish that weren't the case, but it is the case. But the good news is that, yeah, don't read the boomer comments on Facebook. But the good news is that many people who are too stupid to get it are boomers, and they're going to die off. No offense, boomers, but it's true, okay? Not every boomer is a retard, but a lot of the retardation that we are dealing with comes from the boomers. And they're going to die off. Will they die off quickly enough? I don't know. I don't know. But it is going to happen sooner rather than later. And let's just cross our fingers that it happens in time. No offense to boomers. I don't want any boomers in my audience to die. The boomers in my audience are fucking awesome. I'm not wishing death upon all boomers, just on the low IQ ones, so we can get them out of our hair. And I hope their death is peaceful and they are surrounded by people that they love. And I hope that they feel happy with the life that they have here. But we need them to go now. We need them to go.
Want me to show you before? No. I said, just don't get me fired or anything. I ain't get fired. It's your own company. I said, so I have not seen any of this, but they decided like this is a very motivational speech, Haley Stevens, and that we all should, because we all need a little motivation in our life. So let's see what they got. Check this out. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. You did.
The fuck is
yes,
this?
You did. No one will watch 300 the same way again.
I am going to be working on our behalf. I am going to be telling the stories on our behalf. And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way.
Show's over.
The fuck? Are they trying to make a meme? Is Dan Bongino trying to make a meme and just failing colossally and making... What the fuck was that?
Snorting. Don't snort when you laugh. Jackie, I think I messed up the makeup.
I'm so confused right now.
Dude, that is epic. Now no one will watch me. There you go.
Bongino.
Okay. I can't. Guys, we have about 1 hour until the breaking news White House address given by Trump tonight We will be going to Trump Live as soon as Trump graces us with his presence from the Oval Office to rant and rave about whatever the fuck he's ranting and raving about tonight. So if you're looking forward to the Trump speech, we will be watching it on the channel, but it's going to be in about 55 minutes. Now, we were just watching Dan Bongino's show from yesterday. I have been assured by Grillis, and Grillis, I don't know why you're listening to Dan Bongino, and I'm a bit concerned about that because I like Grillis and I want him to stay smart. That was Dan Bongino's show from yesterday. Grillis has assured us that it was even dumber today. And so let's just go to Dan Bongino's show on Rumble and let's watch what happened a couple hours ago, because apparently he was even more stupid today than he was yesterday. So we will watch today's episode, and then at 9 p.m. we will watch the big White House address, and then we will go and cry into our pillow as we start to really comprehend the fact that we are on an island surrounded by retards. We're surrounded by retards. We are the very definition of being sanity amidst a mob of insane people. When you are the sane person surrounded by insane people, you will appear insane. In this case, we are the smart people surrounded by the low IQ fucking retards of conservative MAGA establishment retardia. We are surrounded by these people. If you're feeling sad about that, it's okay to cry. And, you know, because it's depressing is all. It's depressing. We are shipwrecked on the island of Retardia. Yeah, I really should have been in Nitwit's episode, but I was running late, okay? I was running late.
The people who never stop asking are the ones who find answers.
Okay.
Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, I did everything I could during my last stint in government to clean up the weaponization mess.
Wait, no. Retardia is a real place. People are new. They don't know. Reagan, they don't know the lore. Hang on. Retardia is a real place. Retardia is a real place. For people who don't know, Retardia is, in fact, a real place. Let me see. I gotta find the newest map. This is the newest one. Okay. This is the land of Retardia. We created the land of Retardia 3 years ago as a place to banish all of the retards on the internet so that they can have their own land where we can be completely segregated from them. Think of it as a very large island-like concentration camp. We are basically taking over and we are kicking all of the smart people out of Australia, and we are taking over and we are building an island-like concentrated camp-like area so that all of the retards can live a long and happy life. Thank you, Kay Stern, for the gifted channel membership on Rumble. W's to you, my dear. And I just completely deleted my Rumble, my banner. How many members did I have? Hang on. Can someone tell me how many members I just had on that banner? Because I accidentally deleted it. Channel memberships. You can't fault me. I've had drugs given out today. I think I had 58 or something. Can someone rewind and tell me exactly how many fucking memberships we're at? 58. Now we're at 59. 58. 58 with the one that just came in. Okay. Now we're at 59 because what new one just came in on Rumble. Okay. Thank you. Save. Now, back to the important part. Everyone needs to understand the land of Retardia, okay? We started creating the land of Retardia 3 years ago. Land of Retardia started with the Gnostic sex cult, the Retardia school of Gnosticism and wizardry, the woods, which is where we banish all of the retards to, and it is presided over by King James Lindsay I. And that is James's castle in the land of Retardia. And then we added Constantine Kissin the Deluded. And Constantine Kissin is a golem-like monster that lives in a cave. And then we added the de-evolutionary Isle of Colin Wright, who is the retard that works for the Manhattan Institute and married a hardcore porn star, because he doesn't even know what queer Marxism means, although he has an entire podcast about it. So the land of retardia is a real place, and it is a place where we will banish everyone to someday. K Banfield over on Rumble. K Banfield with 2 gifted channel memberships. W's to you, K Banfield. Appreciate the gift. Okay, back to Dan.
Everything in our power we could do, we did. Here's the problem. The weaponization of government does not end at the Atlantic or Pacific or northern or southern borders or the coastlines, the former coastlines. The threat is global. There is a huge threat out there that Secretary of State Marco Rubio is finally addressing. And I'm going to tell you something. If we don't address it soon, you think the President Trump weaponization trials up in New York, those humiliating Star Chamber circus trials with alleged fraud cases with no victims and all the BS.
By the way, I just lost like 30 viewers talking about the land of retardia. But here's the thing. If you can't appreciate the land of retardia, then you are not cut out for my channel. Okay, so this is a filtering mechanism. If you appreciate the beauty that is the land of retardia, then you have found your home. If you do not appreciate the land of retardia, you need to go somewhere else. Yeah, the retards are the ones who left.
That happened. You think that's bad?
Yeah,
if we don't handle this threat, that's beyond the capacity. This is not an FBI, CIA thing. This is a global thing.
We are a serious research group.
If we don't handle this threat now, folks, I'm telling you, like, we are in a world of trouble. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. I want to address that. And also, I did an appearance, my first one in a while on Sean Hannity, a friend of mine, good man. I did an appearance on his radio show a couple of days ago, and I got a ton of emails. I'm still kind of surprised, like, this story hasn't gotten out there. He had asked me something about my year there at the FBI and something I had told him before. And I got a ton of email on it. They say, it's the first time I heard that. I was kind of surprised. So this is really important, the opening of the show. We've got a ton of stuff. We've got stupid shit liberals thing.
Stupid shit.
I love how I just flow into that, right? Well, we've got stupid shit liberals thing. It's a real segment. We've got the gifts of socialism. Big show today. Hey, if you're a homeowner, you probably thought, should I call American Financing to refinance and pay off Walmart? Today, we're dealing with kinetic action in Iran, the new attorney general confirmation hearing. We didn't even get to like Jay Clayton, who could be the DNI. President Trump's got a big speech tonight from the Oval about election malfeasance and foreign interference. This is not a slow news cycle. I know it's the summer, but politics doesn't rest in the summer. So I'm trying to pack all this stuff in. That's why the intros have been long. Dan, it's my birthday. There's no place I'd rather start my day with you and the Bongino Army. Erica, A30. Happy birthday, Erica. It is good to have you in the live chat. We love you. It's our interactive forum for all of you. Join us every day at 10 a.m. live. Love to have you.
Yeah,
Happy
the chat is
birthday
the
from
interactive
me
forum,
and
guys.
the crew to you.
You're welcome.
This is important. It's not going to take long for me to explain this to you, but if you were concerned about
Explain it, Dan.
some jackbooted thug knocking down your door, then folks, you better damn well be concerned about the International Criminal Court. What? Yes. I'm telling you, Missalak Beeman, we did everything we could.
Yeah,
including
exactly.
Turning over
This is
10% of
obviously
our
better
force.
than
I
the
know
fucking-
the doomers
You know
and
what?
the bull.
But can we just be thankful for the small graces that we have, that this retard is no longer deputy director of the FBI? Dan Bongino doing an Owning the Libs fucking podcast over being deputy director of the FBI. That's a W for us, okay? It was a massive fucking L when Dan Bongino got put in that role. It was a massive fucking L when that retard Kash Patel got put in that fucking role. Like, the entire FBI is a massive fucking L. Can we please abolish the fucking FBI? That would be a W. But also, Dan Bongino not being number 2 in charge of the FBI is also a W. We got K Sterling gifted channel membership on Rumble. Rumble holding down the fort today. Thank you guys on Rumble. Appreciate it.
Bullshitters who just, the second I got off the air, were eager to try to destroy. You lost. You look like assholes now with the whole, nothing is happening. And then again, we tell you about what happened and you just ignore it and move on to your next grift. We get it. We get the bullshit. We've already seen through it. Thankfully, the show keeps kicking ass and taking names because everybody knows what happened because we can prove it. We turned over about 10% of the workforce in the FBI. We dismantled entire squads in the Washington field office that were involved in weaponization. There are active investigations still going on that take a while to put together about this specific thing. However, the FBI, what happened in the DNI with Clapper and Brennan at the CIA and others, there's a house cleaning going on in government being marshaled by President Trump, who's had enough of this BS. But folks, there is a global effort to target President Trump after he leaves office. Listen to me.
Oh, no.
Beyond our shores. You got to read this piece. If there is one piece to read this summer, this is it.
It's over. It's over, guys. Iran is going to assassinate Trump, guys. Pinky. Israel swears. Israel promises. Iran is actually doing an assassination this time. It's definitely not Israel and trying to blame it on Iran. Iran wants to assassinate Trump, guys. Israel pinky swears. Little Miss, thank you for the super chat. We haven't forgotten most of the FBI recruitment comes from Columbia University. Yeah, so fucking real. So real, Little Miss. Appreciate it.
It's a Wall Street Journal piece. I think it's behind a paywall. Try to get a copy of it. This is the crux of the whole thing. Secretary of State Marco Rubio takes on the International Criminal Court. You're like, why is this important? Folks, the International Criminal Court, leave this up, please, is exactly what it says. It's an international criminal court that claims they can supersede nation states. We're a constitutional republic, the greatest constitutional republic with a founding documents in our Constitution. We don't need guidance from international criminal court members. The International Criminal Court's allies, they note, are signaling that they intend to target President Trump once his term ends, as the reaction to Mr. Rubio confirms, because Rubio's trying to get rid of this ICC nonsense. The European Union, supposedly our friends, by the way, won't say as much aloud, but called U.S. attacks on the court and threats on the court, quote, simply not acceptable. Listen, folks, flags in the chat, flags, they say Muttley time, red flags in the chat, please, right now. Remember this show, audience archivist Judy, remember the date. The second President Trump leaves office, people pretending to be our friends. I see him right now. I see him out of the corner. Get it going. Folks, huge problem. You heard it here first. There is very little we can do about this ICC unless the State Department leads the way. Chat. Everything from sanctioning people involved in it. We have got to stop this now. Can you imagine what it's going to be like with an international criminal court led by whatever, some justice from Pakistan who's locking up military generals the second they leave U.S. soil? This is a huge threat. And you may think, oh, it's just a threat to the Trump family. It may not affect me. They won't be able to travel anywhere. That's just baked into the sad cake already. This does not stop at the Trump family, folks. Anyone involved in this Trump administration, by the way, moi included, I guarantee you is going to be a target of this ICC. And the whole piece, the rest of the piece is focused on what the State Department and the Trump administration can do right now, because we're running out of time to hit this body before it hits us.
Raspberry jalapeno.
Military generals, battlefield lieutenants. You're going to see ICC warrants out the freaking wazoo wherever the wazoo is. I think we all have an idea. That's where you should shove the ICC. Just remember, you heard it here first. I titled today's show "An Urgent Threat on the Horizon." This is like a pack of great whites you're swimming into. They are dying. The second President Trump becomes former President Trump, for him or any family member to fly into any country where they think they can claim ICC jurisdiction and put him in handcuffs. You'll never see him again.
So good. They have so many good flavors.
Remember, I said it.
So many good flavors.
Folks, again, we did everything we could there. I bring it up, too, because Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche is involved, obviously, for the last couple of days in his confirmation hearing in the Senate. It's turned into exactly what you thought it was. Republicans bringing up substantive matters like, hey, what happened with public corruption cases? You know, what happened with the crime rate? Well, here's what happened. Here's what we did. The Democrats devolving into stupid shit like Sheldon Whitehouse, like Cash Patel's. It's just stupid. These hearings have become nothing more than like TikTok clips for idiots who have no ability to get involved in show business. So they go up there and they just say a bunch of dumb stuff. Adam Schiff. Imagine Adam Schiff discussing government weaponization. Adam Schiff, the grand marshal of government weaponization and tyranny, even having the balls to bring up anything about weaponization. I'm going to bring this up in terms of an interview I did with Hannity the other day on the radio show, and I got some feedback on. Again, it kind of surprised me a little bit. But I'm going to explain to you maybe something I haven't explained well in the past. However, United States Senator Eric Schmidt, very good guy.
I like the black truffle ones, and I like the au jus. But like all of their flavors are good. Like I've had a ton of their flavors, and like I've never been like disappointed. But like the black truffle, the au jus. I just had mesquite barbecue last night. That was pretty good. But they got a ton of flavors on that website.
I met him a couple times when I was working at the FBI job. Great guy, really gets it. He brought this up yesterday at the hearing with for hopefully soon to be Attorney General Todd Blanche. He's like, weaponization? Are you guys shitting me? Like you guys invented a bunch of stuff, a bunch of FARA stuff, a bunch of Presidential Records Act stuff, a bunch of fake fraud cases. Like you invented it out of thin air to try to put President Trump in jail. And now you're.
What if every moment was an opportunity to reward your conviction before the whistle?
Complaining that this FBI, this DNI, and this CIA are working to combat using evidence-based methods, foreign interference in election, and go after public corruption? Are you freaking crazy? The stuff we did, we actually brought to a court. We brought to a court using evidence. You guys brought it to a court and lied. Good job, Senator Eric Schmidt here. Check this out. It's worth your time.
I heard one of my colleagues say that this is the most troubled Department of Justice in history. I happen to live through the previous administration where you had a Department of Justice completely weaponized against political opponents. They tried to throw their chief political opponent in jail, ruin his family's lives. You were his lawyer to see some of that, and I was with you in a courtroom in New York to witness that defense in one of those cases. Were aimed against Catholics in this country who happen to attend a traditional Catholic Latin
I saw
Mass.
magatards attacking Catholics
parents
yesterday.
Under the Patriot Act for showing up to school board meetings to object to critical race theory or the masking of their kids. We lived through Jack Smith, and the chairman has just revealed new revelations, of course, that he was reading text messages. By the way, Jack Smith testified under oath he didn't do that. He testified that they just had the phone logs. We know that's not true now. Jack Smith should be subject to prosecution for lying to Congress. So this weaponization, let's draw a distinction. When you go after your political opponents, that is a weaponization. When you hold people accountable who weaponize the justice system, that's not the same thing.
This is the mess that was thrown into our laps. I'm telling you, every single day. Every day I was there in that office on the 7th floor of the Hoover building. Every day. Hey, Dan, we got a problem. Really? Wait, what now? Every day. Some email would pop up, some FBI device text exchange we found, that some leak to protect leakers or bad actors would appear every single day. Folks, I'm telling you, the place was a mess. This is fairly obvious. I'm unbelievably proud of the work we did. But folks, we're only one election away from it all being turned back. Listen, I'm sorry to tell you this. I know this probably isn't what you want to hear, but you fix it for good, right? You can't fix an agency full of people for good because the people change. You can only fix the rules. It's like that old line, a man never steps in the same river twice. It's not the same man, and it's never the same water. Never the same river. It's not. It's different water. It's a different guy. Cells turn over. It's a different guy. It's an older guy, different experiences. Folks, we changed the...
Hey guys, I need your help with something real quick. I need your help with something. Do you know how at the beginning of this presentation, I told you the retards at the main wire were being stupid because they were saying that people aren't allowed to come from out of state to Maine? And the main retard at the main wire who is going after Mercado for being a fucking journalist. I don't like Mercado and I don't agree with him on a lot of stuff, but like, Mercado's being an on-the-ground journalist, and the main wire has been complaining about it all day because if you're not from Maine, you're not allowed to report here. Yes, you fucking are, you fucking feckless coward. But now he is pissed off that I've been calling him out and calling him retarded. And so now he's outing himself as an idiot that tried to go undercover with the DSA today. Or yesterday, or it's within the last 2 days. This fucking retard from the main wire who doesn't want any journalists coming to Maine to cover the left, he tried to go undercover with the DSA. He got caught immediately, and he got kicked the fuck out. And then the main DSA, I actually had a screenshot about this. I was going to talk about it later. The main DSA actually posted a picture of him on their Instagram saying, these idiots are trying to infiltrate our event. Guess what? Guess what? And you guys can all respond to him and tell him this. You guys can all respond to him and tell him this. Hey, retard. Here's a link you can use. Retard from the main wire. Guess what? When I go undercover with Antifa, even when I am on a fucking hit list wall at the door of the event, as a reminder, the DSA is not Antifa. He wasn't even going undercover with the real far left. When I go undercover with Antifa and am on a hit list wall at the doorway of the event, I don't get caught. I walked right into this Antifa event. I went around, I collected all their propaganda. I brought a journalist with me. He also didn't get caught. We got them on video. We made a big fuck off deal about it. We blew up one of their events that they were going to have happen by making it go viral on the internet. We found out about it by going to their event. Average Person was also there, by the way, also undercover at that same event. And we were on hit list walls at the entrance and we still didn't get fucking caught. Whereas the retard from the main wire can't go undercover with not even Antifa, excuse me, the DSA, which is not as far left as Antifa, and they identify him immediately. But I'm not allowed to go to Maine and do reporting? Bro, you can't even get fucking close to them. I go undercover with far more leftist groups all the time. You can't even get past the DSA, you fucking idiot. Do you know how many DSA groups I am a personal fucking member of to get access to their materials? I'm not undercover in one DSA group. I'm undercover in like 15 fucking DSA groups. Simultaneously. All the time. And you can't go to one event? Bro, you're a fucking amateur. We are not the same. So if you guys want to reply to him and tell him that, here is the link to his tweet. And if you want to use the tweet, if you want to link to the tweet where I was literally on an Antifa hit list wall, there's that one. Okay, I'll put it over on Rumble too. Sorry, Rumble, I'm neglecting you. If you guys want to yell at the retard, let me get this up. Hang on. Here is the link. Back to Dan Bongino.
Guardrails and the rules, but I'm not going to bullshit you like the doomers and grifters. It'd be hard to change them back, but not impossible. Because the media will hide it when they change the rules back.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to know. That is why this is a collective thing. It's not about me. It's not about Cash. It's not about the president, the vice president, Rubio, anyone else. It's about you. This is a consent to the governed constitutional republic, a representative democracy, representative of your needs. But we need you and the voters to show up and not trade this all back. We can't go back. We can't go back. I saw firsthand, and believe me when I tell you, history is going to tell this story and your eyes are going to open up. I'm going to get to Rubio in a second because it's one thing we covered and we're really concerned about the second we got in there, which is you know what, let me get to it now, which was just the explosion of left-wing violence. We lived through it. The George Floyd riots. What do you think? That was a bunch of Tea Party guys rioting in the streets? Like, are you really that? It's like the stuff come out the wrong end and clogged your brain? Are you an idiot? Those were left-wing groups. We saw it every night. Like, it's a mostly peaceful process. Some guys getting this shit beat out of them. Like, buildings are burning down. The chop zone, people getting like shot. That was left-wing violence. One of the first things we did when we went in there is looked at who was financing this. It's still going on, by the way. And you've seen some of the results.
Who's financing it, Dan?
Bullshitters who've been totally humiliated.
Here we go. Guys, Dan Bongino is going to tell us who is financing Antifa. I saw him on Fox News once moaning he has to go into work early in the morning and go home in the evening. Wow.
I'll tell you otherwise. You've seen this Southern Poverty Law Center case going on. Again, everybody's entitled to, innocence till proven guilty. There's the infamous picture. Mostly peaceful protest. Freaking buildings burned down. Dude's in like riot gear with ski glasses on for the smoke.
Yeah, left-wing violence. 4 hours of prep for this, guys. 4 hours of prep.
Goggles on, like he's in like the locker room after a Game 7 World Series win.
The answer, if you're new here, Antifa is funded by mutual aid. Mutual aid are small cash donations from the community. They are not funded by NGOs. They are not funded by nonprofits. They are not funded by USAID. They are not funded by George Soros. They are not funded by Neville Roy Singham and the CCP. They are funded by mutual aid. That's how.
Protecting his eyes from the champagne. It's from the smoke. You've already seen it. The first Antifa prosecution successful in U.S. history. The mission's not over, but this stuff was going on from day one. The BLM arrest. People probably forgot about that. Happened? Yeah, just look it up. Don't listen to the doomers. The Southern Poverty Law Center already mentioned
Guys,
that.
BLM is over.
These are ongoing now.
Antifa over.
And
don't
the
worry about it.
incidents of left-wing violence, although still out there, and these cases are still going on. Folks, under the president's leadership, they're going down dramatically because people are starting to get the hint that if you fund this stuff and you think you're going to get a pass from the left-wing media, mostly peaceful, put the ski goggles on, keep the smoke out of my eyes. We don't care if they try to give you a pass. You're not going to get a pass with this justice system or the State Department or this White House. Here's Secretary Rubio, who's just killing it with dual role. I don't know how many guys, like 47 different jobs. See the number. Here's Secretary Rubio yesterday talking about how big of a problem left-wing violence has been through the course of history.
Good.
And the media just continues to ignore it. Nobody's ignoring it now. Check this out.
One 18-month period between 1971 and 1972.
A history lesson. Excellent.
The FBI counted some 2,500 bombings on American soil, a rate of nearly 5 a day. The overwhelming share of that violence came from left-wing extremists. Between 1970 and 1980, 93% of terrorist attacks in the West came from the far extremist left. These are numbers that would shock most.
Narrator. Marco Rubio doesn't even know who the far left in America is. But he pinky swears that everything in his little history lesson came from the far left, but he can't name any of the current groups on the far left today. And he doesn't know who they are, and he doesn't know how to define them, and he doesn't know what their behaviors are, and he thinks they're funded by Iran and Cuba.
Americans today, because we've been taught to believe that this kind of political violence, it simply doesn't exist, or it's being exaggerated.
I mean, I don't really care what retards say. I don't care. I don't care.
Our nations bear the scars to prove it.
And there are some people not working at the Department of Justice and the FBI anymore because they tried to parrot the same bullshit narrative. It's not really left-wing violence. Really? You sure about that? One of the questions I love to ask when I was there, and I'm desperately trying to not make this show about the past year because it's just, there's other stuff to talk about. That's why we talk about socialism a lot. But one of the questions I would ask all the time is why? Why do you think that? No, explain to me again why. And after like the second or third bullshit explanation where they trip over their own words, we realize like this person's got to go, can't be in that position anymore, or can't be in the job because the judgment is so terrible. I was on Hannity's show, and this came up the other day. He had said to me, he's like, hey, you remember the conversation we had where you told me early on that you were going to do the year, and here's why. I said, yeah, I remembered it. And, we still get this question a lot, and I answered the question the same way, but I gave a little more detail, and I got a bunch of feedback on it. People said that's interesting. I never heard you say that before. Well, why, folks, walking away from that was really hard. I'll keep this short, but I think it's important, especially with the Bongino army out there.
The Bongino army, guys.
Like they've already
Antifa defeated.
Themselves. It was hard. It's hard to walk away from power like that. That's what it is. Institutional power. I mean, it's power behind a microphone too, but it's different. To walk away is hard. I really, really enjoyed the job. It was tough. There were a lot of days where,
What did you do on the job, Dan?
Like anything worth having, you got to suffer for a little bit, right? No one wants an easy job. I mean, you're not even going to remember it. It was tough to walk away. But one of the reasons I decided early on and told Sean and, Mike Davis and others, we love Mike Davis.
The odds can change in a heartbeat. Every touch.
By the way, can we get him on the show? You got to, Mike Davis. Yeah, I would love Mike Davis. Was because I knew eventually I was going to become a distraction. Not because of anything I did, just because everything I did became an issue because I did it. It didn't matter if I cured cancer at the FBI. There'd be some controversy that I was starving cancer doctors of revenue. So I figured I had about 100 days to kind of go in there and shake the place up and change everything I could.
Dan Bongino planned to be the deputy director of the FBI for 3 months and thought he was going to fix everything in 3 months. He proactively planned to only try to fix things for the first 90 days. Okay.
Every problem there, from medium to big to small, everything I could have had about 100
90
days.
days. Yeah, okay.
I had about another 100 days to kind of let it settle a little bit, and another 100 days to get people in place where we could make these changes permanent, at least with the people in charge, unless the administration changes and they move other people in, as I said before. But I knew after a while, after about a year or so, that me being in the position, you notice you don't hear much about the new deputy director. He's a good guy, but you don't hear much because the media just loves to hit my name. It's just like a click for them. So everything became a big deal. From like me going down to grapple with the guys and like, oh my gosh, he hurt his shoulder or his elbow. My elbow was sore. I was a 50-year-old grappling with, like, that was a story. Like nobody would care about that with anyone else. So I knew after a year I could go in and do what I needed to do, but it was after then, and everybody knew that. That's why the president came on my show after that, was the first guest, But I came up, I explained it that way, and a ton of people even, they said, I've never heard you say that before. Well, it's true. Sean knew it, Mike knew it, everybody knew it.
You probably used ChatGPT
so that's why I did
create his
that.
90
And
day
I'm really proud of what we did, folks. Really proud. All right, I got to get to some really important stuff. I don't want to, again, make this show. I rarely talk
really
about it,
important
as you know.
stuff, Dan.
However,
get to the good stuff.
It's important we get that out there. But there are real fights going on. The real fight is on the other side of the political fence right now. It is. We're cleaning up our movement. That's great. But this battle against socialism and stupid shit liberals think is unbelievably important because the kids are being indoctrinated to believe. And by the way, I am not attacking the younger kids. I'm going to explain to you why I think.
Hey, Dan. How are the kids being indoctrinated? Because you assured us in yesterday's episode, Dan, that all of the socialists are socialists in name only and they're not real socialists. So how in the world are the kids being indoctrinated? Because you just said on the show yesterday they're not real socialists. and they're stupid and they don't even know what they believe. That seems contradictory, Dan.
I think in this segment, we should have aired this conversation you and I had before the show, Justin. It was so good. To the young folks out there who listen to my show, by young, I mean like 16 to 25. That's in our society now, it's still relatively.
What 16 to 25-year-old is listening to this shit? Does anyone actually know any 16 to 25-year-olds who listen to Dan Bongino? One in the chat if you know a 16 to 25-year-old who listens to Dan Bongino. 2 in the chat if you don't know of any 16 to 25-year-olds who listen to Dan Bongino. Can we just all hope and pray to whatever God you believe in that more 16 to 25-year-olds are listening to Nick Fuentes than are listening to Dan Bongino?
Young, right? It wasn't 20 years ago, 30, but you get the point. I
don't do drugs,
blame
kids.
you for being angry at the system.
Not
Are
even
we
a
clear
year,
on that?
Deep.
I can't
Jesus.
go forward. Everyone
Thank
in
you.
the chat, do you understand? I do not blame these kids. It is the wrong attack. I see some, not a lot, but some people in the conservative movement, they're almost angry at these kids for believing this stuff. I'm not angry at them at all. The system did screw you over. What? Yeah, it did. But the system that screwed you over is the government. I'm going to show you. I'm going to bring receipts. I don't blame you for being angry.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you,
receipts.
direct your anger
Yeah.
at the right spot. It's not.
Yeah. Dan got to be the deputy director of the FBI, but he thought he was doing P90X and it was only for 90 days. Did he really throw out, he did the whole P90X routine to a governmental position? He did. He did. Dan was confused. He thought he was doing P90X. It's the only explanation that makes sense. Thank you, Chance. Appreciate it. I did anyone actually do I actually did P90X back in the day. P90X is like hard as shit. I've actually thought about, should I go back? I actually thought about, should I go back and do P90X again? Because P90X is hard as shit. I was doing back in the day, I had the fucking chin-up bar. I liked the wide arm chin-ups. I could do those the easiest for some reason. I don't like the chin-ups like this. I also did the push-ups and that was a good fucking workout routine, man.
Us that did this to you, it is the government. There's a reason you got screwed over. And we need to change our messaging to reach out to them, or else the socialism is going to be the only off-ramp to that highway. And we can't have that because it leads to nowhere. Quick break, and I'll bring receipts, folks. A hugely important segment coming up. Hey, the stakes right now cannot be higher. We finally have a country fighting hard.
No ad read, you fucking grifter. No ad read.
I've played for you 100 times the Yuri Bezmenov,
Diamond
the
Dallas
Soviet
Page
Union
yoga,
KGB
maybe.
defector, the clip of him saying the Soviets knew they couldn't take on the United States in a mano-a-mano war. They would lose. The United States is the greatest military in the history of this rock we call Earth. Hands down. Thank you, the men and women who serve. We love you on the show. We're all America all the time here. Always.
Guys, just as a time check, Trump is scheduled to address the nation in about 20 minutes. We will be going live to the Trump speech when he does start it. And we are watching Dan Bongino retardation up until then because I'm a masochist.
Nobody on the globe can take us on one-on-one. They can't. Dan, how are you so sure? Because the record's there to prove it. We will kick your ass. We don't lose wars. Public perception may turn against it, but I promise you, when we have marshaled the American will to go and take on a foreign enemy, no matter how big, the Germans, the Nazis, even the Cold War and the Soviets, we win because we kick ass and take names.
Okay, Dan.
And you should be proud of that. Our military is amazing. It's incredible. The bravery, the technology. There is a well-funded global propaganda machine, I promise you, though, out there trying to destroy this place from the inside with conspiracy theories, with the MAGA tent turning against each other. People up is down, down is up, west is east, east is west. You see this now. People don't know what to believe anymore. And one of the things you're seeing now with a massive resurgence in the United States is the resurrection yet again of socialism.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Peter St. Onge has been on
Dan's
the show.
going to teach
He
us
is
about
just
socialism.
fantastic. I strongly encourage you to follow him on X. He is really, really well informed. He puts together some great pieces. Guys, this is why, and ladies out there, this is why I don't blame the kids. I blame the kids for eventually not seeking truth. If you just choose to be ignorant, then that's on you. You have to understand. This is the conversation I had with Justin. I wish made it on the show this morning, but I'll have it again right here. Pretend Justin's right next to me. Folks, your kids who are in these public schools, not all, but many.
No, all.
From kindergarten through 12th grade in high school, and many of them in college too, depending on where they go, have been indoctrinated for over 10 years, over a decade of their life, the most impressionable.
It's actually been way longer than a decade, you fucking retard. The left claimed the public schools by 2008, 2009, 2010. They had many of them before that, but they solidified their control of those schools over 15 fucking years ago, which means people have gone their entire educational careers in public schools, educated by the far left, while Dan Bongino has gone on a podcast and doesn't even know what the fuck he's talking about.
Decade where they have no life experience to counteract or contradict what they're being told. They have been told for 10 plus years that socialism is sharing. Sharing is caring. It's all about Barney the dinosaur. It's all about Sweden. Look at Sweden. Isn't Sweden wonderful? You notice
that's
like
not actually how they're teaching it, Dan, at all.
It's kind of weird. St. Onge addressed this in this video. I got 2 clips from it, but this is why it is a mistake.
No, you didn't listen to what I said. You didn't listen to what I said. The left started taking over the public schools in the 60s and the 70s. It was the long march through the institutions. They were certainly in the public schools in the 90s. They had not taken over all of them yet and solidified their control. When I say 2008, 2009, 2010, that is when the long march through the institutions was complete. They won. They worked up to it for decades. So were they in the schools in the 90s? Yeah, of course they were. Yeah, but not all of them, and they didn't have complete control yet. By 2008, 2009, 2010, that time frame specifically, they solidified the control of the public schools forever. There is no one doing what they've done. Nothing. That is what I'm saying. It's not that they were not in the schools in the 90s. It's that they were much more powerful by 2008, 2009, 2010, to the point where it has become an we cannot defeat that. It is an insurmountable problem.
Judgment to attack the kids and not go after the system indoctrinating the kids. It's a huge mistake. You're going to lose them forever, I promise. Here's part 1 of him describing this global propaganda machine funding everything from schools to indoctrination. Check this out.
A majority of Gen Z now wants to replace our economic system with socialism. According to a new study by Cato, over half of 18 to 25-year-olds, 53%, have a favorable view of socialism.
I can't imagine
which
why.
beats capitalism, that scores just 45.
Can't
Meanwhile,
imagine
38%,
why.
4 in 10, have a favorable view of communism. So communism is now just 7 points behind capitalism. Impressive approval for breadlines, secret police, and gulags. Worse, the trend is getting bad fast. Seniors favor capitalism 3-1 to socialism and 13-1 to communism. Even millennials, capitalism beats socialism by 10. So Gen Z is a 18-point swing compared to avocado toast pronouncing millennials. 12 years of government school, followed by 4 years of progressive finishing school to marinate them in capitalism for 16 of their first 22 years. 84% of public school teachers and 93% of college professors are liberal, meaning socialist. In one study, donations...
They're all liberal, which means they're socialists. This is who's teaching the right about the left, and this is why the right does not understand what the fuck they're talking about. Socialists shit talk liberals all the time. Socialists believe that liberals are fascists. Liberals are not fucking socialists. Liberals want to uphold capitalism. Socialists want to abolish capitalism. They are not the same fucking thing at all in any way. This is who is teaching the right. He's the expert, guys. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Socialism and 13-1 to communism. Even millennials, capitalism beats socialism by 10. So Gen Z is a 18-point swing compared to avocado toast pronouncing millennials.
No.
12 years of government school
You're not
followed by
listening.
4 years.
No. It's not fixable. We have no one to replace the teachers with. 90% of teachers are leftists who have been indoctrinated into the far left their entire educational career, including in the teachers' colleges. We do not have anyone to replace the teachers with. That's the first of a many in a long series of problems that says until public education is burned to the ground, I mean completely defunded, no more public schools, no more public funding for education, everyone is homeschooled, and the private industry can take it over and people can figure it the fuck out. No more taxes to go to schools, no more public school requirement. Everyone has to figure out another fucking way. Until that happens, there is no fixing it. I'm sorry. There is no fixing it. I wish I was wrong about this. I'm not.
The progressive finishing school to marinate them in capitalism for 16 of their first 22 years. 84% of public school teachers and 93% of college professors are liberal, meaning socialist. In one study, donations ran 95 to 1 Democrat. Another study sampled 118 professors who donate to politics, found 1 out of 118 donate exclusively to Republicans and 0 donated to Trump. In other words, liberals do not have kids, but they just take yours. Recent study found 1.
Liberals don't have kids, guys. Liberals don't have kids. Hey, that's funny that you think that liberals don't have kids. Not that liberals are socialists, because liberals are not socialists. But earlier today, and maybe you guys can help me give this a share if you want to see it. Earlier today, I posted a video, and I know Natina Kotex covered this as well. I posted a video in which I explained that there is a new guide out for how to speak to children about hating ICE. So why is it? Hang on, I'm not gonna play the sound on this, but why riddle me this, expert in socialism? Why do socialists have a literal guide for how to teach their children to hate ICE that actually starts by teaching toddlers? There is a specific section for toddlers. They are teaching their kids to hate ICE before their kids are even in kindergarten, guys. There's a section for younger kids, older kids, and then teens, I believe. And then there's a call to join your local rapid response group so you can do anti-ICE activism. So I posted this video on IG, YouTube, Twitter, obviously. TikTok, I think I'm on there. If you guys want to help me share it on X, please feel free to do so. But they don't have kids. They abort all their babies.
Marinate them in capitalism for 16 of their first 22 years. 84% of public school teachers and 93% of college professors are liberal, meaning socialist. In one study, donations ran 95 to 1 Democrat. Another study sampled 118 professors who donate to politics, found 1 out of 118.
Most of the kids they're targeting aren't their kids. Actually, that's not true. Actually, that's not true. What retards like you don't seem to understand is grooming the next generation of socialist activists is built into the socialist ecosystem. They have childcare at all their fucking meetings, asshole. They are absolutely targeting their own kids worse than they are targeting the kids in public schools. Their own kids go to the socialist meetings with them, where they have childcare, where they play socialist games with the kids that are way worse than anything the kids in public school are receiving. So no, No. And if you want to do something about the public schools, maybe stop being such a fucking coward behind an anonymous account on Twitter. Go out into the real fucking world and actually do something about it instead of being a fucking internet warrior asshole.
To Republicans and 0 donated to Trump. In other words, liberals do not have kids, but they just take yours. Recent study found 1 in 3 high school Gen Z do not know who George Washington is. 61% had no idea what we were just celebrating the 250th anniversary of. 11% guessed the first election. 4% guessed the Plymouth Rock. 30% did not comprehend the question. Recent study found 1 in 3
Dan.
high school Gen Z do not know who George Washington is. 61% had no idea what we were just celebrating the 250th anniversary of.
It's in the
11%
headline.
guessed the first election. 4% guessed the Plymouth Rock. 30% did not comprehend the question.
Didn't comprehend. Justin finds that part
Stop spamming the chat, Eric.
tragic. You didn't comprehend the question. You don't even know the 250th thing was the two.
Okay.
Folks, the 250th celebration is in the
I
headline.
missed a super chat. I apologize. I didn't realize I missed it. Gladiator girl. So sorry I missed the super chat, my dear. I got the noob welcome when I renewed, so I changed back my avatar. Hoping no, I did recognize you. I did recognize you. I wasn't positive you were previously a channel member. So welcome back. Welcome back. I appreciate all the support. Thank you. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I did recognize you. I just didn't. I wasn't positive you were previously a channel member, but I did recognize the name.
It was celebrated on Independence Day. Independence Day. Where we signed this thing called the Declaration of Independence. It's in the name. It's like asking what we're celebrating on Martin Luther King's birthday, or like who's buried in Grant's tomb. It's in the name.
Okay, got the speech up. We'll go to the speech when it starts.
Yeah, exactly. Then you go, we're celebrating independence from who? This is why I'm telling you, your instinct is to get mad at the kids. Folks, I almost cursed with that. How in the hell is a child in school from kindergarten through college, through their, in many cases, early 20s, probably 15 years of their lives. How are you in school and you never learn that Independence Day is the day we declared independence? It's in the freaking name. It's in the name.
Wow.
This is why, though, I know the instinct is to want to like hit the kids. I don't mean physically. I mean, take them on here.
Dan Bongino's instinct is to hit the kids? My particular instinct would not be to beat up the children, Dan. That actually is a thought that would not have actually crossed my mind at all in any way. But how interesting that Dan Bongino just told us that his first instinct is to hit the kids who have been lied to and indoctrinated into a cult their entire fucking lives. I mean, that's like a perfect freeze frame for this. Again, Dan?
How are you in school and you never learn that Independence Day is the day we declared independence?
Okay.
It's in the freaking name.
Trial beater. Yeah.
It's in the name. This is why, though, I know the instinct is to want to like hit the kids.
No.
I don't mean physically. I mean, take them on here. It's not their fault. Imagine sending your kid to a trade school for carpentry. And then the kid comes out after 15 years, because this is a similar analogy. And you're sitting there with a hammer and a box of stainless steel nails. And he goes, "What's that?" You'd be like, "What the? What's that? What's that?"
The Trump speech cannot.
It's a hammer and a nail. Who runs the public schools? Government and liberal teachers. Younglings out there, the younglings. Don't get mad at us, bro. We didn't screw this up. We're trying to give you school choice to get out of these shitholes. That's our thing. MAGA people, conservative people. You don't want a choice? You want to go to a school where in 15 years you don't know Independence Day, celebrating independence? It's in the effing title. It's in the title. It's right there. The lead isn't buried.
Former deputy director of the FBI. We are going to be going to the White House speech as soon as it starts. I have it up on my screen. We will go there immediately when Trump decides to get his ass on camera.
Honestly, do you know who's buried in Grant's tomb? It's not a trick question. I guarantee you some people don't. Who's buried in Grant's tomb? Grant! That was a Woody Woodpecker episode.
30% did not comprehend the question.
How do you not comprehend the question? Wait, Justin can't get over that part. A third did not comprehend the question. Folks.
He's kidding.
Younglings, we did not do this to you. We are trying to help you. The government did this to you through their public schools.
Younglings, do not listen to Dan Bongino. You need to go listen to Nick Fuentes. Don't listen to this fucking boomer asshole, younglings. Go listen to Nick Fuentes.
With their tax dollars, they did this. We're trying to give you a way out. We're trying to give you an...
But because the White House speech is about to start, maybe... I want to make sure I ask this question. I told you guys at the beginning of this stream that many people would find it harder to watch Dan Bongino than they would find it to watch hardcore socialism, which was what we do most days. 1 in the chat if you would prefer to watch Dan Bongino. 2 in the chat if you would prefer to watch hardcore socialism. Now that we have spent a while watching Dan Bongino, 1 in the chat if you would prefer to spend your time watching Dan Bongino. 2 in the chat if you would prefer to spend your time watching hardcore socialism. I told you guys you would thank me. I told you guys. See, every time I do this little exercise, people are so excited to watch socialism. They're like, Karlyn, it was hard to watch socialism for several days in a row, and we complained and we said we didn't want to do it, and we struggled to get through the entire socialism video, and then you made us watch 2 hours of Dan Bongino, and now we're so ready to go back to socialism. Okay, speech is starting.
Before we begin, I'm proud to report that our country is safer, stronger, and far wealthier than it has ever been before.
Everyone pay attention.
We are doing
Important
great.
speech.
Less than 2 years ago, we inherited an economic and social disaster. After the worst inflation in 48 years, the wide open borders with millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, including criminals of all types, and 11,888 murders, many of whom killed more than one person. We had transgender for everybody, men and women sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before. We have more money being invested in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. More Americans are working today than ever before. This week, it was announced that inflation saw the largest monthly decline in more than 6 years. Just happened. It was just given out. The media reported it, and we accept it. The best in 6 years. The tax cuts in our great, big, beautiful bill are saving hardworking families thousands and thousands of dollars, like with the provisions, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors, along with the interest deduction on a loan used to purchase a car, but only if that car is made in America, and a 100% expensing for our job creating businesses. Our stock markets are at their highest point in many years, but we can actually say of all time, And your
All
401ks,
time.
pensions, and retirement accounts are setting records every single day, the highest in history. For years, we paid the highest price for prescription drugs anywhere in the world. Now we pay the lowest price under my most favored nation's policy because I was able to get the rest of the world and the pharmaceutical companies to act responsibly.
Thank you.
Drug prices are coming down by 70, 80, and 90%. TrumpRx.gov, this will ultimately reduce the cost of healthcare. You have to go to TrumpRx.gov and take advantage of it. But the cost of healthcare is coming way down because of what we've done with prescription drugs. And with Trump accounts, every child in America now has access to a tax-free investment account
Get to the meat of
to
the
save
speech.
for their future. Billions and billions of dollars are being invested, put in by companies and individuals to take care of our children so that at age 18, they will have potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in their account, and they'll get off to a great start in life. So for that, go to trumpaccounts.gov and sign up your child or any child who'd like to sign up. Our previously wide open borders have been transformed into the most secure borders in the history of our country, with 0 illegal aliens being admitted to the United States in the past 14 months. That is 0. Nobody thought it was possible. We had the worst border in the history of our country, and now we have the best. Crime is plummeting nationwide, with the murder rate at its lowest level since 1900, or more than 125 years ago. We're making a record investment in our armed forces, and we have the strongest and most powerful military by far anywhere in the world. I built it during my first term, and unfortunately, we're forced to use it now. We won in Venezuela, which is now working with us to produce millions and millions of barrels of oil. We are likewise winning big in Iran, and you will see the fruits of that labor very, very shortly. America is back and doing really well, but we still have a major challenge that must be urgently addressed, because no country can be great without fair and honest elections. You have to trust your country, because if there can be no trust, there can be no greatness. And that's very simple. No trust, no greatness. For many years, I've called for bold, swift, and decisive action to protect the integrity of America's elections. Every American deserves to know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of critical intelligence.
Thank you, Adam.
Revealing shocking vulnerabilities in our
W's
election
to you, my friend.
infrastructure.
Thank you.
This evidence shows that the election system we have dangerously exposes, and really exposes like levels never thought possible, to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious
China is committing
activities,
election
which is
fraud in
exactly
America.
what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought,
Thank you so much. You're so
stolen,
generous.
or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information
I'll read that
secret
on the
and
stream
hidden.
later.
They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his reelection. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt
Is
to
anyone
manufacture
buying
illegal
this?
ballots
That it was
for
China?
Joe Biden.
One in the chat if you're buying
Documents
this. Two in
show
the
that
chat if you
during
think
this
Trump's
period,
full of shit.
dozens of significant CIA and
It was all
NSA
China.
reports about China's
China
election
and the deep
targeting
state.
were kept out of the
One if you're buying this.
presidential
Two if you
briefing.
think Trump's full of shit.
These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One
Yeah, they got
email
a
among
strongly worded letter.
intelligence
Yeah.
analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote,
China.
a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations
No,
to
it's
be
sitting downstairs. I
blatantly
need to clean out a place
Recently,
to put it.
we
It's kept
found
with some honor, I
significant
promise
numbers
you.
of
It's just
burn bags
downstairs.
in formation, and this is a group of
No, we're going to use the gong.
bags
I
that
need to
were
redo my office.
used to destroy
Badly.
information given by President Barack Hussein Obama
Oh my
to be burned.
God.
It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened.
No.
Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags.
Oh.
But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of
Why are they
Justice, the
releasing this
FBI, and the
now?
CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden,
Oh, guys, they're
to
going to do
fire
an
those involved in the
investigation. Oh, no.
cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years, Americans were blatantly lied to about the security of our election infrastructure, including electronic voting machines and ballot counting systems. Dishonest, almost all. They're vulnerable and they're easily compromised, and people within our government knew that. Tonight, we're publishing a series of previously classified U.S. intelligence community assessments and other reports proving that our government has long known these machines are extremely exposed to attack. As one assessment states, we judge that the United States adversaries, including at a minimum Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, as well as non-state groups, have the capability to
Gabriel.
compromise U.S.
Yeah,
election
it is.
infrastructure. That's
You're
unquote,
learning.
but that's some statement, isn't it? Made by supposedly great patriots of our country. The document goes on to further state that, quote, we assess that centralized election-related data repositories, such as voter registration databases, poll books, and other official election websites, are most vulnerable to exploitation, and adversaries could use this access to these systems to disrupt election processes within the United States
I
of
wish
America.
I had that gong right now. I'd be
Tonight, we're
gonging every
releasing
time
all
Trump's
of those
full of shit.
findings, and spanning from January 2020 to June 2026. This is a cyber threat aimed at the very heart of our democracy. Many people have questioned whether it could actually be possible to electronically manipulate vote totals or change election results on these terrible machines. Today, we are releasing documents that show the CIA obtained reporting of a specific plot to do a big number in favor of the corrupt Maduro regime in Venezuela. And that's exactly what happened, conspiring to digitally rig their own country's elections in 2020, and that's what they did. This reporting included precise details about methods to regime develop to digitally alter vote totals in ways that could not be detected even with an audit, no matter how deep they went. This intelligence underscores why we must take urgent action to ensure that our own system can never, ever be hacked or compromised like it was in the past. The fourth set of documents reveals that even when significant evidence of fraud has been detected, it has been buried and covered up. Among the disclosures tonight are FBI files detailing evidence of alleged fraud by a large-scale voter registration operation in Michigan. In 2020, Michigan State Police raided a Democrat Get Out the Vote organization, corrupt group in Muskegon. And we're so concerned by what they found. They were just so concerned. They couldn't believe it, actually, that they contacted the FBI in Detroit. The documents state that some canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names, submitted fraudulent registration for people who did not exist, and received gift cards tied to their number of applications that they produced. In other words, it was pay, play, and cheat. The FBI agents working on the case believe that crimes were committed, yet the Biden Department of Justice slow-walked the investigation and killed it. Tonight, I'm asking the FBI director to ensure that the matter is fully investigated and to work with the Department of Justice to prosecute those responsible for any crimes.
Don't look at AIPAC.
Finally, to reveal
until
just how
after the
vulnerable our
midterms.
elections
Yep.
continue to be, we are releasing the results of a stunning investigation by the Department of Homeland Security.
Uh-oh.
According to the DHS review, state voter rolls and public records, they identified approximately 278,000 non-citizens who are registered to vote in federal elections. Since Democrat states refuse to share their voter files, the real number is actually much higher than that. Yet, even this limited analysis found more than 250,000 foreigners illegally registered to vote. Put together, these disclosures reveal an election system so broken and so vulnerable that no one can possibly defend it. It is not defensible. Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption. China and other countries have been trying to meddle in our elections. Evidence of fraud has been buried.
Thanks, Murphy's Pool.
Hundreds of thousands of non-citizens and dead people are listed and active on the voter roll.
Dead people, guys.
And yet we still have elections with no voter ID, no proof of citizenship, and tens of millions of ballots floating aimlessly through the mail. As one example of the insanity, California's recent election for mayor of LA and governor was held on June 2nd, a long time ago, but it was just completed a few days ago on July 10th. Think of that, much more than 1 month. Took a month to count the votes. I wonder what they were doing. This is worse than any third world country. There's no third world country that has elections like we have. In a rare move, NBC and ABC Fake News have both said that they would not cover this speech. They knew what it was about because of the fact that they don't like the topic, because they know how corrupt our system is and they don't want to reveal it. They and others in the media are part of a plot. They want to continue this fraud for whatever reason. They want to keep it going. They want to protect the radical left. They can't have a great country, and that's true. You can't have a great country without free and fair elections. Fraud like this should mean a revocation of their licenses. They use our public multi-billion-dollar in value airways for absolutely no money. They pay nothing. All we want is honesty in our elections and honesty in reporting. They pay nothing for multi-billion-dollar assets. Great damage has been done to our country. Our elections were left vulnerable to being rigged and stolen, and the trust of the American people was lost. This cannot be allowed to continue.
No, she's Israeli. To be very clear, Miriam Adelson
Democrat,
is
independent
Israeli.
or otherwise, should be able to agree
She does
that
make money
we
in China,
deserve the
but
most
she's
secure,
Israeli.
honest, and fair election system anywhere in the world. Secure elections should be a partisan, really, we should be together. Democrats, Republicans, independents, everybody. And it should not be a partisan issue. It should cause to unite us, not to divide us. This should be a cause. We should be united, not divided. In light of the brand new and irrefutable information I have revealed tonight, my administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again. Tomorrow, the Secretary of Homeland Security will hold a briefing to outline his department's recent work confirming cyber vulnerabilities in our electronic voting systems. They are bad. We're in the process of informing governors, senators, and members of Congress of potential issues in their states. If you look at voting today, it's in such bad shape in so many states, and we are committing to fix it. And we're also committing to be working with those states and local jurisdictions to help them fix and patch known
he
technical
won thanks to
vulnerabilities before the midterm
Israel.
elections. We have very important elections coming up. We want those
That's where
elections
it
to be
came
honest.
from.
I've also ordered DHS to
Israel.
notify every state about non-citizens on their voter rolls and direct them to remove all ineligible voters from the lists immediately. But most importantly, addressing this crisis of election security demands that Congress must pass the Save America Act.
Oh my God.
How easy is that to do unless you want to cheat?
Oh.
The only reason you wouldn't do it is you want to cheat because your policies are so bad and your candidates are so pathetic that you can't get away or can't get elected any other way. This landmark bill requires that all voters must show photo voter ID. How simple is that? Could I have your photo, please? Photo voter ID. All voters must provide proof of citizenship.
Yeah, Adam Green
Are
probably
you a
called that.
citizen of our country, please? And hopefully there will be
Probably
no
did,
corrupt
actually.
mail-in ballots, which if you watched California and so many other places, mail-in ballots are inherently corrupt. So you would have no mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military deployment, or travel if you're going away on business or vacation. These reforms are urgently needed to stop the vulnerabilities that I've mentioned. To all Americans, I ask you to pick up your phone tomorrow, call your representatives in the House and Senate, and demand that they pass the Save America Act without delay. Together, we will restore faith and confidence in our country, and we will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. Thank you. God bless you. God bless our great military, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Okay. That's it. So it was China. It was China. China. Okay. All right. All right. Well, that speech was a big waste of time. That was a big nothing burger. That was yup, that was not important. And listen, man, I rarely come down on the side of mainstream media, but like maybe ABC and NBC both actually had the right idea on that one, that we don't actually need to waste the American people's time with Trump's narcissism project, because he's finally figured out that they're going to get slaughtered in the midterms. They're going to get slaughtered in the fucking midterms, and they're going to do everything they can to deflect and to obfuscate and to get people looking in a different direction. But yeah. Monty P. Muffin Fluffer What a name. Over on Rumble, sent in a Rumble rant during the speech, and I didn't want to read it during the speech because it was long and had nothing to do with it. Apocalypse Now teaches a bit about what we're dealing with. Kilgore Duvall is a blowhard, more interested in surfing than winning the war, while Kurtz Brando was hunted by his own for winning. Yeah, so true. I feel like I need to watch Apocalypse Now again. And we also, can we just do another big round of W's for Old Sub Sailor? During the speech, Old Sub handed out not 20, but 40 gifted channel memberships during the speech, getting us up to 102 gifted channel memberships today. Old Sub also says pre-midterm distraction effect, or effort rather, it's only just begun. Oh yeah. Guys, you got to get used to identifying when something is a nothing burger, which is a term I hate, but like whatever. Because we're going to be getting a lot of that shit. Like, just basically, like, listen. My advice is that you don't believe a fucking word coming out of the White House or anyone that works for Trump up until the midterms. And the reason I say that is because we have seen so much misinformation come out about the left. Do you really think the left is the only thing they're lying about? How much misinformation did we see just today from the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, from Stephen Miller, and then that bullshit from Dan Bongino, who you know he's a conduit for what the White House wants him to say. Thank you so much, Sarah, for the $1. I appreciate that. How much misinformation did we see just come out today? Do you think the far left is the only thing that they're doing misinformation about? I don't. And so for my money, I'm going to look at the primary source evidence, and I'm going to listen to Nick Fuentes, and I'm going to listen to Amalek and a few other people that I trust. But mostly I'm just going to look at the primary source evidence. And I don't believe a fucking word the left says. I don't believe a fucking word the right says. That's all we can really do. Anyway, guys, I want to thank everyone who donated so much in super chats today. Thank you so much for the super chats. I want to thank everyone who donated 102 new channel memberships. Did you get to a fight with Amalek? What the fuck is he? What are you talking about? Don't besmirch Amalek. Amalek is like one of the few people that I've actually had like a long-term friendship with. Can we not start a fight with Amalek? Can you please give me this one thing? Why do you guys have to ruin everything? What the fuck did he do to you? God. Thank you again to everyone who donated to the stream today. I will be back tomorrow. I also have a surprise interview coming up that I think you guys are going to like. I'm recording it tomorrow. It will not be live, but I will be releasing it probably this weekend. Oh, because Amalek is a white guy for Harris? Well, you know, I mean, what do you want? What do you want? Anyway, guys, I will be back tomorrow. I will see you then. Take care. Go cry into your pillow tonight. But it's going to be okay.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here? 3 months, May 17th. And what brought you here? That's difficult to answer. I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.